Chapter 457. Mountain Lee and the others had already entered the first level of the Heaven's Punishment Tower. The Heaven's Punishment Tower was similar to the Tong Tian Tower, but the inside was bigger than the outside. Torches were lit all around, and the light from the flames flickered. They could see that there were cells all around them, and there were cries and screams coming from within. "I beg you, let me out. I'm willing to be your slave. Please let me go. I know I was wrong, please. Don't go. Don't lock me up here anymore, please." Mountain Lee and the others did not have time to care about these people. Where's the boss? Where's the Heaven's Punishment? Cutthroat looked around strangely. Not long after, Ching He's little fox returned and chirped a few words to Ching He. Ching He then said to everyone with certainty, "There's no boss." Mountain Lee looked around and frowned. Could it be that the mad scientist has already passed the first level? It seemed like this was the only possibility. No wonder the people in the cells were only crying and begging, and not wailing like the rumors said. The person they're talking about should be the mad scientist. That guy actually passed the first level. That's too strong. Quick, let's go to the second level. There were much fewer cells on the second level, and the people locked up here were much stronger than those on the first level. However, the pleading sounds coming from the cells were no different from those on the first level. Even if they were strong, they could not endure the attacks of the Heaven's Punishment. They only wanted to get out, and they did not care about their dignity. "Brother Sean, if we can make these people work for us." Three Lives could not help but feel a little moved. Mountain Lee shook his head. "People are fickle. We can agree to any conditions now, but once we get out, we can't control them at all. We can sign a contract. Now is not the time to talk about this. Let's catch up with the mad scientist first." That guy actually passed the second level. In front of the Heaven's Punishment Tower, many teams had already arrived. There were various races, including the Beast race, the Descendant race, the Demigod race, the Sky Demon race, the Night Demon race, the humans, the undead. There were more than 10 races that had heard the news and rushed over. Strangely, when the various races arrived in front of the Heaven's Punishment Tower, they did not fight. They maintained a safe distance from each other and minded their own business. The human troop was a garrison of Mo City. The leader of the troop was a major general with the ID of Hung Dao. At this moment, one of his subordinates, whose ID was Yu Fei, quickly walked up to him and whispered in his ear, "General Hung Dao, a total of 13 races have sent people here." Hung Dao's face was solemn. "Yes, I know. We'll be the last to leave after that kid comes out." These troops were here to monitor Liu Chen's attempt at the tower. Although no one believed that a mere human militia could break through the Heaven's Wrath Tower and obtain the treasure, it seemed to have become an established rule. It was as if all the major races were very afraid of that treasure. Even if there was only a 1 in 10,000 chance, they would absolutely not allow anyone to take that treasure away. "When did that guy go in?" Hung Dao suddenly asked. Yu Fei replied, "General, we're not too sure either. When we arrived, he had already gone in, but the group of people who arrived later had already gone in for 20 minutes. 20 minutes? Hung Dao frowned. "Did he die inside? That's not right. The Heaven's Wrath Tower doesn't keep people inside. Even if they're dead, their bodies will be thrown out. Could it be that they can really hold on for so long?" Yu Fei suddenly thought a question. "General, I'm saying if they come out alive, should we protect their safety?" Yu Fei emphasized that this was just a hypothesis. After all, it was already a miracle that they came out alive. Hung Dao looked at a demigod troop not far away and shook his head. "It's useless for them to come out alive. The 13 major races are here. We can't protect them even if we want to. Unless they can obtain that treasure, otherwise, whoever wants to capture them can do so. We can't do anything about it." Humans were the weakest existence in front of this group of people. It was difficult for them to even protect themselves. They had to wait for the other races to leave before they dared to leave the Heaven's Wrath Tower. Asking them to fight with these strong races was tantamount to courting death. Besides, you're just asking unnecessary questions. Do you think that a few militiamen can come out alive? We just need to complete our surveillance mission. Don't worry about it." Yu Fei frowned slightly. Although the general's words made him feel uncomfortable, The other races would do their best to protect them when they encountered any disputes. However, humans could only swallow their anger. At this moment, he even imagined that those people could bring out the treasure and let the humans hold their heads high for once. 10 minutes later, there was still no movement from the Heaven's Wrath Tower. The surrounding races had already started to discuss. What's the situation? He's still not coming out? What's going on? Why is there still no movement after so long? Tiger King frowned slightly. That kid had been in for a long time and hadn't come out yet. Something's not right. Cat Lady leaned on Tiger King's shoulder. It's indeed a little unusual. No one can last for so long. Could it be that the kid can really pass a few levels of the Heaven's Wrath Tower? Tiger King narrowed his eyes. I heard from the group of trash that escaped that the kid seems to be very strong. His damage can reach 37 million. If that's the case, with his strength, he should be able to become a titled marshal. Maybe he can pass 1 or 2 levels. Titled marshal. Bearman also frowned. No wonder the teams that came to monitor this time are all of high levels. Tiger King snorted. Hi. Only the humans sent a major general. Humans are the weakest. A major general isn't even enough to fill the gaps between my teeth. The others who have some strength are all at the captain level. They're about the same as me. I'm not afraid of them. Let's wait a little longer. I don't think that kid can last much longer. When the time comes, we'll capture him alive. At the entrance of the Heaven's Wrath Tower's 7th floor, Lu Chun took a deep breath. At this moment, his HP was maintained at a red blood state. Only when he encountered a strong enemy would Lu Chun maintain such a low HP to fight. However, although this state was strong, it also meant that Lu Chun was always on the verge of death. The boss on the 6th floor is so strong. Coupled with the hellfire damage, it's going to kill me. Lu Chun wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. Under the heavy injury, there was indeed a problem with his body. He didn't know if it was an internal injury, but he had been bleeding since just now. 3rd celestial stage injuries will affect the use of skills. Let's check the skills. Lu Chun looked at his skills. Among them, the Mute Dust Pearl's spiritual energy storm was sealed. At the same time, because his spiritual core was damaged, all skills damage was reduced by 25%. Damn, this debuff can't be removed. You must recuperate and adjust your breathing to recover. Lu Chun frowned. The first 6 floors were already difficult for him, but now he had 3 more floors. Moreover, they were the most difficult 3 floors. Taking a deep breath, Lu Chun spat out a mouthful of blood. He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and stared at the entrance of the 7th floor. Mu Xian, wait for me. I'm coming. Chapter 458. When he reached the 7th floor of the Heaven's Punishment Tower, Lu Chun had already entered the battle. Debuff, Heaven's Punishment, Wind Erosion, below the true divine constitution. The body will be affected by wind erosion, leaving no flesh and blood. Lu Chun's eyes widened. What kind of Heaven's Punishment is this? It directly damages the body. This is even more unbelievable than the previous Heaven's Punishment with high continuous damage. A gust of wind blew past. What Lu Chun felt was not the feeling of wind brushing past his skin, but a sharp blade that cut his body. In an instant, Lu Chun's whole body was covered in blood. Please note, your body has been damaged. Your left arm has been damaged by more than 10%. Your left arm's mobility is reduced by 10%. Damage is reduced by 10%, and maximum health points are reduced by 5%. What the F*** CK? It directly reduced my maximum health points. Lu Chun was shocked. Is Heaven's Punishment always so overpowered? Heaven's Punishment was a continuous attack, which meant that as long as Lu Chun stayed here, he would be damaged by the wind erosion. The reduction of his maximum health points would affect him too much. He had to find a boss quickly and kill it. Only by killing the boss could the Heaven's Punishment stop. Fortunately, the boss was not hard to find. In the gust of wind, 100-meter-long giant scorpion stood in the eye of the wind, staring at the intruder. I didn't expect that someone would be able to break into my place. Through the translation program, Lu Chun understood the giant scorpion's words. Very good, I've been bored for too long. Finally, there's someone to play with me. After saying that, the giant scorpion flew toward him. The system reminded him again. Please note, your body has been damaged. Your left leg has been damaged by more than 10%. Your mobility is reduced by 10%, damage is reduced by 10%, and maximum health points are reduced by 5%. Lu Chun said angrily, "Shut up. Cancel the notification." Triple door. Earth chasm. On the 6th floor, the Cerberus guarding the door already had close to 800,000 damage. This scorpion must be even stronger. Lu Chun did not dare to be careless. He started with a strong control. As long as that guy was stunned, he would have a chance to quickly pass through here. With the help of the triple door, the earth chasm smashed onto the giant scorpion. With a loud bang, the ground shook. However, after being hit by the earth-splitting chasm, the giant scorpion was not stunned even though it had dealt a few 100,000 damage. Lu Chun was shocked. How is that possible? I clearly hit him. Is it strange to be a human? Immunity to stun. As it spoke, the giant scorpion had already arrived in front of Lu Chun. It waved its huge pincers and bombarded the ground in front of Lu Chun. Lu Chun also did not expect that this fellow would not attack him, but instead attack the ground. But he soon understood. With a loud bang, the ground beneath Lu Chun's feet cracked and collapsed. Lu Chun suddenly lost his footing and found it difficult to control his body. This should be a skill similar to Universal Annihilation, Sky Shaker, but with a larger area of effect. Just as Lu Chun's body was floating in the air and he lost control of his body, a huge scorpion tail descended from the sky and stabbed straight into Lu Chun's head. Above him was actually a human's blind spot. The giant scorpion's body was huge, its tail was tall, and its speed was extremely fast. It was originally difficult to detect, not to mention that Lu Chun was still floating in the air. Fortunately, Lu Chun had the Eye of the Dark Gods, and the Eye of the Dark Gods gave him a timely warning. Only then did Lu Chun realize that the opponent had already made its move. At this time, it was very difficult to dodge. For most skills, the first condition was to move on the ground and step on the ground to provide power. Because of this, once the enemy hit you into the air, it was very difficult to use displacement skills to dodge the opponent's subsequent attacks. Lu Chun's HP was very low now. If he was hit, he would probably die again. But this was only the 7th floor. Lu Chun definitely could not waste another life here. Blood sacrifice shield. Lu Chun shouted angrily. The giant scorpion sneered. You're courting death. My attack is piercing damage. It's specially designed to break your shields. Sure enough, the moment the scorpion tail touched the blood sacrifice shield, the blood sacrifice shield with millions of durability was instantly broken. Lu Chun's eyes widened in anger. This was bad. At this moment, an angry roar came from behind him. Puppet's secret technique, blood sacrifice, soul pull. Suddenly, Lu Chun felt his hands and feet being pulled by someone. Just before the scorpion tail fell, he was ruthlessly pulled away. It's a puppet master. After Lu Chun dodged the attack, he turned around in surprise. The one who had attacked him was his teammate, the unlimited puppet master of the mountain picking team, Main Yang. At this time, she was bleeding from all 7 orifices. Her hands seemed to be pulling an invisible string, and the other end of the string was pulled to her body. After using this move, Main Yang suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. Fortunately, a few people rushed out from behind her and supported her. It's you guys. Lu Chun saw the 11 familiar figures. They had actually chased him to the Heaven's Punishment Tower. The 2 heartless brothers raised their hands and gave Lu Chun a rejuvenation spell. Main Yang endured the pain and quickly pulled Lu Chun to the side of everyone. Madman, you actually made it to the 7th floor. Oh my god, there are a lot of depressions on the 6th floor. I knew you should be on the 7th floor. Damn, what kind of punishment is this? It directly reduces the upper limit of one's HP. Madman, how did you get through the previous few floors? Stop talking nonsense. Madman only has a little HP left. Let's help him block it first. Main Yang suddenly stopped everyone. Passive. That scorpion is not a living thing. This time, even Lu Chun was dumbfounded. What That scorpion was not a living thing. That's a puppet. Yang panted heavily and stared at the giant scorpion. Madman, you almost fell for it. He used a blood sacrifice soul pull, the same one I'm using now. Yang, you've never used this blood sacrifice soul pull before. Yang took a deep breath and tried to calm her breathing. This is a secret technique. I thought I was the only one who knew it. I haven't found a suitable puppet yet, so I didn't have the chance to use it. Lu Chun suddenly realized. No wonder that guy was immune to stun. It turned out that it was a puppet. There was someone controlling it from behind. How could it be stunned? At this moment, a person slowly walked out from behind the giant scorpion. This person was not human. He was ridiculously thin and had a big head. As he walked out, he was still clapping. His tone of voice was also strange. I didn't expect that the one who recognized my blood sacrifice soulbind would be a human puppet master. Then, the person looked at Lu Chun. Kid, if your friend didn't recognize that this was a puppet, you probably wouldn't even know how you died. I can play you to death. This time, Lu Chun only felt sweat on his back. He didn't even know who his opponent was. How could he win this battle? Lu Chun stood up and wiped the blood. He could no longer control his injuries and learn to bleed. Yang, thank you. If it weren't for you, I'm afraid I would have died here. Yang nodded. Madman, we'll cover you. Retreat quickly. Lu Chun smiled. Although his face was covered in blood and his limbs were numb, his smile looked a little forced. I won't leave. I promised my friend that I would save him. No matter what, I will save him. Knowing that guy is a puppet master, I don't think I will lose again. With that, Lu Chun turned around and walked back to the battlefield. Chapter 459. This was Lu Chun's first time fighting a high-level puppet master. Puppet masters were generally weaker, and their attributes were not outstanding. However, the most terrifying thing about a puppet master was the puppets in their hands. Yang was a fifth-line puppet master. She could control fearless puppets at the same time. Among the 5 puppets, there were meat shields, close-range fighters, and long-range fighters. In addition to the puppet master's own enhancement of the puppets, it was no exaggeration to say that a high-level puppet master's combat power was comparable to a small team. The strength of a puppet master was mainly determined by the level of the puppet technique. The higher the level of the puppet technique, the more puppets one could control. Yang was a fifth-line puppet master. She could control a maximum of 5 puppets. Her strength was considered very strong among the puppet masters Lu Chun had encountered. On the other hand, besides the number of puppets, a puppet master also had to look into the strength of the puppets themselves. There were all kinds of strange puppets in Jiuqian. They could be made by collecting materials. There were also some other methods to make special puppets. There were even some extremely special individuals that could be used as puppets from birth. The stronger the puppet, the more special the puppet technique and puppet strings needed to control it. Blood sacrifice soul traction was a type of puppet technique. At the same time, it came with a special puppet string. It used one's own blood chi to form strings. It was extremely rare. Obviously, this puppet master was not simple. 7 stars chasing the moon. Lu Chun targeted the puppet master's body. He leaped a few times, trying to get close. You think the puppet master will let you get close? Dream on. The puppet master smirked. His hands were behind his back. This way, no one would be able to guess his attack from the movements of his fingers. Second in command, come out for a walk. Just as Lu Chun was about to get close to the puppet master, the ground suddenly split open. A huge gray shadow darted out from the ground and blocked the puppet master's path. Halfway through Lu Chun's attack, a gray shadow darted out and Yu's tiger descends the mountain in an attempt to repel the puppet master. 10 consecutive hits, 30 segments of damage. Immune. Lu Chun was shocked. He used the remaining 7 stars, chasing the moon, and quickly retreated. Only now did he see the new puppet clearly. It was a gigantic creature that was covered in rocks. It was 30 to 40 meters tall, but upon closer inspection, it wasn't a stone golem. Its skin was covered in rocks, but when its joints were bent, one could see its flesh and blood. Its rock head emitted 2 faint white lights as it stared at Klein. Ha ha ha! I told you that you can't get close to me. The puppet master laughed. Are you surprised? Your attacks were invincible in the first few floors, but why are they useless against me? I'm sorry, but you can't even get past the second master. Main Yang's eyes widened. That guy actually had this puppet. That's a rock troll puppet. He actually has this puppet. Bashan hurriedly asked, Main Yang, is this puppet very difficult to make? It's not difficult. It's that no one knows where to get it. Main Yang shook her head and said, It's said that the rock troll is a demonic creature that lives underground. It's nurtured in underground fire and cultivates in underground lakes. Its body fuses with underground metal, ores, and seeds. Its attacks contain the three elements of metal, earth, and fire. It's immune to physical attacks, and its resistance to metal, wood, water, fire, and earth elements is over 80%. It has an almost invincible defense. What? Bashan was shocked. It's immune to physical attacks, and its elemental resistance is over 80%. How can we fight it? Main Yang's face was not relaxed at all. She nodded. That puppet is the tank-type puppet that almost every puppet master dreams of. Unless it's a special elemental attack, it won't move at all. It's just that no one knows where to get this puppet. Chasing Cloud's brows were tightly knitted. Spiritual energy attacks are actually elemental attacks without any attributes. With the improvement of one's cultivation technique, one will eventually approach an element with high affinity. This fellow has such high resistance to all 5 elements. He's indeed an excellent meat shield. Then all that's left is the heavenly might attack. Cutthroat frowned. However, Main Yang shook her head again. I previously said that blood sacrificial soul traction is a secret technique. The most powerful aspect of this puppet technique is that it greatly reduces damage. Everyone knew that puppet masters could share the damage with their puppets. However, it was only to share the damage. The total amount of damage would not be reduced. However, blood sacrificial soul traction could actually reduce damage. The others had never heard of it before. Blood sacrificial soul traction does not share the damage, but completely reduces it. Main Yang continued to reveal a piece of despairing news. The damage the puppet receives can be transferred to the puppeteer through the blood veins. While the blood veins transmit the damage, the 360 blood veins can greatly reduce the damage caused by the heavenly wrath. By the time it reaches the puppeteer, there won't be much left. At this moment, the power of blood sacrifice soulbind is displayed. It provides a second transfer of damage. The puppet master can transfer the damage to the puppet. In this way, the damage reduction will be doubled. During the entire process, only the puppet will suffer the damage, but it's already the damage after the second round of damage reduction. I've calculated that currently, my blood sacrificial soul traction can reduce damage by 60%. That guy's damage is probably even higher. What? The others almost broke down. That's too crazy. 60% damage reduction. The heavenly might damage will also be reduced by more than 60%. With immunity to physical attacks, elemental resistance of more than 80%, and a damage reduction of more than 60%, standing in front of the puppet master was truly an indestructible heavy tank. No, if Lunatic doesn't know this guy, he'll definitely be at a disadvantage. Main Yang hurriedly shouted at Lu Chun, Lunatic, that's a rock troll. It's immune to physical attacks, has elemental resistance of more than 80%, and has a damage reduction of 60%. It also has a defensive skill that's almost invincible. When Lu Chun heard Main Yang's warning, he instantly broke out in cold sweat. What the F*** CK? Did this guy have to be so strong? The rock troll's mission was to protect the puppet master at all times. In order to kill the puppet master, they had to kill the troll puppet first. The giant scorpion, with its powerful control ability, probably wouldn't just stand by and watch. The puppet master looked at Main Yang, who was behind Lu Chun, in slight surprise. This woman knows quite a lot. I really like your surprised looks, and I like the feeling of helplessness in front of me even more. Since that's the case, let's make this feeling even stronger. Come out, all of you. As soon as the puppet masters finished speaking, 4 rock troll puppets jumped out from the ground. This time, Main Yang and the others' faces turned pale. Oh my god, this guy has his 5 rock troll puppets. This guy is a 6-tier puppet master. He has a troll puppet squad under him. Does he have to be so exaggerated? What the F asterisk CK? Can anyone kill this guy? Ming Yang's face was pale. 5 rock troll puppets. If the damage is spread out evenly. Oh my god, how much damage would he have to deal to kill them? At this moment, everyone saw Lu Chen's expression change as he held his left arm. Oh no, the injury on Lunatic's left arm is getting worse. In his left leg, it's one thing to have an undefeatable boss, but he still has to endure the insane heavenly punishment. There's no way out at all. Oh my god, is this the heavenly punishment tower? No wonder no one can get through here. Lu Chen gritted his teeth. His body was hurting more and more, almost to the point where it was unbearable. His limbs weren't listening to him anymore. The puppet master opposite him had a group of rock troll puppets with heaven-defying defense and a giant scorpion. It's the 7th level. After this level, there are only 2 levels left. Lu Chen stared at the puppet masters. Damn it, I didn't expect that I would have to go all out on a mere 7th level. Instantly, Lu Chen's eyes glowed green. His body gradually split open. A ferocious-looking, majestic demon broke out of the human skin cocoon, unable to endure the thirst. The only thing that was out of place was the pair of white furry ears behind the thick horns on its head. They couldn't help but itch and move mischievously. Chapter 460. The rock golem was not only good at defense. 2 rock golems stood in front of the puppet master and activated Iron Bastion at the same time, blocking the illusions outside the protection area. The other 3 rock golems and giant scorpions pounced on the illusions around them. Earthquake, blazing fist. Unfortunately, the illusions left behind by the ghost shadows were unable to cause any damage. Their only use was to identify Lu Chen's real body. The puppet master was enraged that he could not find Lu Chen's real body even after casting many illusions. He roared at the illusions in front of him. Kid, do you think you can touch me just by transforming into a few illusions that have no fighting power? No matter what skills you use, you can't hurt me. Lu Chen did not get close to the puppet master. The Iron Bastion blocked the illusions outside, so he could not descend to the puppet master's side. Moreover, his target was not the puppet master at all. A rock golem was pouncing on illusion. Its huge fist was too hot, emitting thick smoke. In the environment of heaven's punishment, the smoke was very strong. Just as its fist was about to hit the illusion suddenly turned around. Dragon Blood Boil. Tiger descends the mountain. Being able to use skills meant that this illusion was Lu Chen's real body. However, when everyone saw the skill he used, they could not help but feel nervous. Tiger descends a mountain. Isn't that a physical attack? The rock golem is immune to attacks. What's wrong with Madman? Don't talk nonsense. Can you think of a way to hit the rock golem? The number of Heaven's Wrath attacks is limited. It must be used at a critical moment. Madman needs to ask the rock golem for help. Sigh, I'm afraid we can't pass this time. The enemy is too strong. Seeing that Lu Chen only used Tiger descends the mountain, the puppet master could not help but laugh. Ha ha, you're really at your wit's end. Stop struggling and wait for your death. Heaven's Punishment Tower is not a place you can enter. Fierce Tiger descends the mountain was about to arrive. At this time, Lu Chen shouted out, Demon's 3 transformations, Darkness Element Conversion. Of the 3 God and Demon transformations, the 3 God transformations could transform attacks into Thunder Elemental attacks, while the 3 Demon transformations could transform attacks into Darkness Elemental attacks. These 2 types of attacks weren't within the defensive range of the Rock Golem. However, due to the powerful damage reduction effect of Blood Sacrifice and Soul Pull, Lu Chen needed to maximize the damage he dealt. Hence, his first choice was still the 3 demonic transformations. Although the rock trolls had extremely high damage reduction, in the 3 transformations of the celestial demons, one of the 3 passive skills, Tunnel, could increase elemental attack damage by 100%. Even if the opponent had 60% damage reduction, Lu Qin's damage was still off the charts. -7. 4 million dark elemental damage. 12. 6 million damage reduction. -2. 72 million. 4. 23 million damage reduction. -2. 72 million. 4. 23 million damage reduction. -7. 47 million. -2. 72 million. -2. 72 million. A series of numbers stacked together and floated out. 30 hits, a total of 130 million damage. As a rare elemental damage, the rock golem had no resistance at all, other than the damage reduction effect of blood sacrifice and soul pull. It took all the damage. The rock golem's health points were just over 100 million. Before Lu Qin's damage was done, the rock golem's health points instantly disappeared. This was after the damage reduction twice. If there were no damage reduction, Lu Qin's attack would have dealt 390 million damage. The rock golem's huge body fell to the ground. Not far away, the puppet master spat out a mouthful of blood. Lu Qin didn't give him any chance to breathe. In the Heaven's Wrath Tower, he couldn't afford to waste any time. Phantom shadows descend. Before anyone could react, Lu Qin's real body had already appeared in another location. This time, he chose the giant scorpion as his target. Tiger descend. The giant scorpion had 80 million health points. Moreover, it was not controlled by blood sacrifice and soul pull. Halfway through Tiger descend, the giant scorpion rolled over and retracted its legs. It was no longer moving. Phantom shadows descend. Tiger descend. Phantom shadows descend. Tiger descend. Phantom shadows descend. Tiger descend. Lu Qin moved in a way that was difficult to capture. In an instant, he appeared in various locations on the battlefield and killed all the remaining rock golems. Wherever he went, the rock golems, which were known for their defense, couldn't even withstand a single attack. They were almost like paper, dying with a single touch. Everyone who was sweating profusely for Lu Qin just now was stunned. Oh my god, what kind of damage is this? The damage is over 100 million, and this is under the 60% damage reduction. What kind of skill is this? Does the lunatic's skill have no cooldown? Can anyone explain this? The lunatic is actually so strong? Oh my god, it's fine if the damage is high, but the skill doesn't have a cooldown. Coupled with this displacement skill, this is a F** King Harvest. Pulling Mountain shook his head. The lunatic's strength had once again shattered his understanding of it. He's too strong. I've never seen such a strong person. Moreover, when he fights, his mind is very clear. At the beginning, he used phantom shadows to fill the battlefield. He had already planned to kill the rock golems first. I finally know how he made it to the 7th floor. This kind of strength, this kind of calmness. That guy isn't human at all. On the battlefield, when Lu Qin arrived in front of the puppet master, who had lost his protection, the bodies of the 3 or 4 rock golems around him were still slowly tilting. Phantom Shadows was just that fast. The puppet master didn't dodge or struggle. He just looked at the person in front of him in disbelief. 9 transformations of gods and demons. You actually have the 9 transformations of gods and demons. A heaven-tier taboo skill. This person was quite knowledgeable. He could actually identify the 3 transformations of gods and demons. However, this guy said 9 transformations, but Lu Qin clearly used the 3 transformations of gods and demons. Lu Qin's first reaction was that the 3 transformations of gods and demons in his hands wasn't complete. Facing his impending death, the puppet master suddenly laughed. I have nothing to say about losing to the 9 transformations of gods and demons. However, kid, I'm very curious. Will you become a god or a demon in the end? Now, it seems like you prefer becoming a demon. Lu Qin frowned slightly. What did the 3 transformations of gods and demons have to do with becoming a god or a demon? It was just a set of skills. Lu Qin's raised hand was interrupted by the puppet master's question. What do you mean? Ha ha ha. So you don't know? I won't tell you. The puppet master wasn't too stupid. He knew that whether he said or not, the result would be the same. Therefore, He might as well not say anything. Without any bargaining chips to exchange, he would just discuss the other party. Lu Chun suddenly realized that this guy wasn't beaten for no reason. If he didn't want to tell, then so be it. Lu Chun didn't buy it. Tiger descends the mountain. The puppet master didn't even struggle. This was what happened to puppet masters when they were closed in on. Even if he was a six-string puppet master, after losing his puppets, he had no power to resist. He only had 10 million HP, much lower than the boss Lu Chun had encountered before. He was instantly killed by Lu Chun. When the puppet master's HP reached 0, a white light instantly engulfed the entire floor. Suddenly, the wind erosion on the 7th floor disappeared. The surrounding fog dissipated, and the entire floor could be seen clearly. Even the surrounding prison cells could be seen clearly. The puppet master's corpse on the ground hadn't disappeared yet. It must have dropped something. However, Lu Chun didn't manage to hold on until his favorite part of looting the corpse. His vision turned black, and his body fell straight to the ground. In a daze, Lu Chun saw a line of red words from his system. Your physical body has suffered more than 40% damage. Please recover as soon as possible. Chapter 461. After an unknown amount of time, Lu Chun slowly woke up. When he opened his eyes, he realized that he was sitting cross-legged with two people supporting him. There was also someone pressing down on his back. It was similar to the scene in wuxia television dramas where internal energy was used to heal injuries. Madman, you're awake. Don't move around. Heartless is healing your body, Lifeless said. Zhu Ming said, although we are pharmacists, without pills the effect might not be very good. Lu Chun checked his body's condition. Currently, the system gave him a damage level of 32%, which was 8 points lower than before. It seemed that Heartless had helped him recover quite a bit. At that moment, Heartless suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood, and the healing was interrupted. Heartless! Everyone hurriedly checked on Heartless. Pulling Mountain said, Spirit infusion is too much of a burden on your spiritual core. Heartless, rest for a while. Lu Chun also hurriedly turned around. Heartless looked very tired. Heartless, don't force yourself. Thank you. Physical injuries were not something that could be healed with just spirit infusion. Lu Chun had a deeper understanding of this point. Previously, everyone had been under the effects of the wind erosion heavenly punishment. Their bodies had all suffered varying degrees of damage, so they sat to the side to rest. Pulling Mountain sent a trade request. Madman, these are the items that the puppet master dropped. I didn't know when you would wake up, so I picked them up for you. I don't know if I did something wrong. Why did only 2 items drop? Lu Chun smiled. Brother Sean was afraid that Lu Chun would think that he had embezzled the loot, so he stammered. Brother Sean, you're much luckier than me. The previous bosses rarely dropped 1 piece of equipment, but you actually got 2. Pulling Mountain let out a sigh of relief. When he had looted the corpse, he had specifically asked someone to record it. He was afraid that there would be too many items and he would forget. In the end, he had only looted 2 items. He thought that the items had disappeared. This boss is so strong, but only dropped 2 items. Of the 2 items, one was the puppet master's puppet robe, a dazzling piece of equipment. The other was a giant rock puppet. Lu Chun put away the 2 pieces of equipment. The boss here might not be a boss that drops equipment. It should be an NPC. Even if it's killed, it's just a drop. The chances are very low. Pulling Mountain's strength thought about it and realized that the puppet master did indeed look like a player. It was just that he was from another race. Lu Chun turned his head and saw Ming Yang. Her injuries were also very serious. It seemed to be the aftereffects of using blood sacrifice on a living person. Ming Yang, it's all thanks to you this time. I have no use for these 2 pieces of equipment. You don't have a suitable puppet to use blood sacrifice and soulbind, right? It just so happens that the rock troll can use it. After saying so, Lu Chun handed the 2 pieces of equipment to Ming Yang. Lady Mei hurriedly sat up. Madman, this thing is too precious. I can't take it. Lu Chun smiled faintly. It's precious in the eyes of the puppet masters, but it's actually useless to me. Without your guidance, if I wanted to win this battle, I would have to lose at least one of my lives. Besides, with the rock troll, I can slack off when our team fights in the future, can't I? The dazzling gold robe was also a good item. However, in front of the rock troll puppet, its value was too low. That was the dream of the puppet masters. With the rock troll puppet, when a team fought in the future, it was equivalent to having a super strong meat shield. It could relieve everyone's pressure. Madman, will you still fight with us in the future? Mei-Nyang looked at Lu Chen nervously. Lu Chen looked at these people. Although he had only been with them for a few days, they had already received Lu Chen's approval. They had stayed behind to fight against the monster race army with him. They had charged into the Heaven Punishment Tower without hesitation. They were brothers who were willing to go through life and death with him. What reason did he have to not acknowledge them? As long as I don't die, we will charge through the third heaven together, Lu Chen said firmly. The same emotion could be seen in everyone's eyes. All right, our militia team will charge through the third heaven together. Since Madman would still be with everyone in the future, the others also advised Mei-Nyang to accept the 2 pieces of equipment. Her increase in strength was also a good thing for the team. At this moment, Lu Chen suddenly found that someone was touching his ear. Hiss, I felt it just now. So this ear is really on top. Cutthroat's attention had been on Lu Chen's ear since just now. Frost Dance finally couldn't help it. Really? I thought it was faked. It looks very strange. Let me touch it. Aya, so soft. So cute. If I pull hard, I really can't move it. Demon was speechless. Even if he had a bunch of hairy ears, most of his body was still that of a demon. His muscles were hard all over. What did it have to do with being soft? What did it have to do with being cute? Was it appropriate to pull a seriously injured person's ear so hard? You too. Can you stop touching it? It hurts. Can I touch the tail? Tail. Not even. Chingha. I said don't touch the tail. Lu Chen felt like there was nothing left to live for. As expected of people from the third heaven, each and every one of them was too daring. Oh, I just wanted to see if it was the same type as my little fox. I really can't help it. Lu Chen really had no other choice. He quickly rushed out of the encirclement and secretly made himself invisible. He changed into human skin and reappeared in front of everyone. Without the strange ears and tail, Lu Chen finally heaved a sigh of relief. Madman has changed back. Hey, Madman, what's going on with you? Is it the effect of the 3 transformations of gods and demons? Sancheng frowned and asked. As a heaven-rank forbidden technique, the number of people who had seen the 3 transformations of gods and demons could be counted on one hand. It was just enough to be used as an excuse for Lu Chen. Lu Chen didn't explain too much and ambiguously let it pass. More or less. After a short break, Lu Chen looked at the 8th step. Seeing Lu Chen's gaze, everyone stopped joking. The next 2 steps were the hardest. Chasing Cloud patted Lu Chen's shoulder. Madman, I'm afraid your body won't be able to take it. If the 7th step of Heaven's punishment is already so strong, what comes after will definitely be even more terrifying. Your HP has decreased by more than 30%. I'm guessing your technique has also been affected. Why don't you rest for a while? Yeah, I know you're anxious to save people, but if you lose, you won't be able to save people at all. Sharpening the knife won't delay the work of cutting wood. Lu Chen frowned and took a deep breath. Finally, he nodded. Yes, Chasing Cloud, you're right. I didn't expect the Heaven's Punishment Tower to be so strong. If I rush it, all my efforts will be for naught. Let's rest here for the night. Many people said that the Jiuqian was a real world. There was one thing that could be proven. At night, there were many poisonous mosquitoes in the forest. To be able to create such details, if the Jiuqian wasn't a real world, it could only be said that the mysterious organization Tianheng was too sick. With a smack, he slapped another mosquito to death. Damn it, even mosquitoes have cultivated. Such a big one. Outside the Heaven's Punishment Tower, teams from more than 10 races had already begun to set up camp. Some of them had cooking skills and were cooking supper. Originally, this group of people wanted to wait for more than 10 minutes. But now, a few hours had passed, and the target had yet to appear. On the surface, the teams from the various races looked lazy, as if they were having a picnic. But this was obviously a facade for their opponents. From the back of the various camps, figures flashed out one after another. They were rushing to the main camp to gather troops. A piece of news was spreading quickly. Someone might have obtained the Heaven's Punishment Tower's treasure. Chapter 462. In the quiet night, the undercurrent was surging. Lu Chun and the others were unaware of this. At this time, Chasing Cloud was personally making food for everyone to fill their stomachs. Let me tell you, cooking is really strong. This roasted meat that I roasted can speed up the recovery of physical wounds. The ingredients are very hard to find. They did not expect that dead face to be so passionate about cooking. It was really surprising. However, in the first and second levels, the player's sense of taste was not very obvious. However, in the third level, Lu Chun tasted the roasted meat and immediately widened his eyes. Damn, it's crispy on the outside and tender on the inside. It's delicious and juicy. The seasoning is just right. Delicious. Even if it's delicious, you can only eat one piece. I need to gather the ingredients for a week. Chasing Cloud limited everyone's food intake. Forget it. You and Mei Nyang are injured. I'll give you one more piece. The others will limit it to one piece. Although delicacies could speed up the recovery of the physical body, it was still just a support. If they wanted to recover their physical wounds in a short period of time, they would need pills. Pulling Mountain walked over and sat beside Lu Chen. Frenzy, your wounds are more than 10%. Normal regeneration pills will have their effects reduced, but they can still heal a part of your wounds. Today, only my quartermaster can exchange for them. Give me your military merit points, and I'll exchange for more regeneration pills. All right, everyone, give your military merit points to Brother Mountain. Frenzy's wounds are more than 30%. For wounds below 10%, the regeneration pills can heal 1%. For wounds above 10%, the effect will be reduced by half. For wounds above 30%, the effect will be reduced by another half. In this way, for regeneration pills can heal 1%. Everyone, calculate how much you can exchange for. 1 military merit point could be exchanged for 3 regeneration pills. They had 45 military merit points and could exchange for more than 120 pills. It was just enough to completely heal Lu Chen's wounds. Pulling Mountain gave a pile of regeneration pills to Lu Chun. Frenzy, eat them. Lu Chen nodded and ate all the regeneration pills. His physical wounds were finally healed. Frenzy, we don't have much savings. This time, we have recovered, but after the 8th level. Pulling Mountain looked at Lu Chun worriedly. Lu Chun nodded. What Mountain picking strength meant was that if the 8th level was damaged again, there would be no way to recover. Don't think too much. We'll talk about tomorrow's matters tomorrow. Rest well today. Ice Bear patted Lu Chen's shoulder. Although the Heaven's Punishment Tower was dangerous, the most dangerous place was also the safest place. This night, everyone slept the best they had in a few days. Early the next morning, the teams got up one after another. In front of the entrance to the 8th level, Lu Chun stopped. Don't go up. The heavenly punishment of the 8th level will definitely be even more terrifying. Good? Lunatic will give you a buff. 3 lives impregnable fortress, armor formation, frost dances frost arrow, cruel life's elemental resistance, firearm masters fire, elemental damage bonus. A whole bunch of skills, useful or not, were thrown at Lu Chun. Lu Chen's status bar was full. Lunatic, be careful. If you can't beat it, think of a way to retreat. We can still hold on for a while. Lu Chun nodded. He understood everyone's intentions, but he would definitely not bring the boss down. At the entrance to the 8th level, Lu Chun directly activated the 3 demon transformations. The 7th level was already so abnormal. The 8th level would definitely be even more difficult. He could no longer preserve his strength. As soon as he stepped into the entrance of the 8th floor, Lu Chun immediately entered battle mode. Heavenly punishment. 9 suns burning body, below the true immortal physique. The physical body will be affected by the high temperature and will quickly wither. Please note, your physical body has been damaged. Your physical body has been damaged by 2%. Your damage will decrease by 2%. Your max HP will decrease by 2%. Please note, your physical body has been damaged. Your physical body has been damaged by 4%. Your damage will decrease by 4%. Your max HP will decrease by 4%. Lu Chen was secretly shocked. He had just recovered from the injuries on his physical body. Now, his entire body was being damaged at a rate of 2% per second. The Nine Suns burning body was even more powerful than the wind erosion. Moreover, it burned his entire body. At this moment, Lu Chen's body was emitting steam. It seemed like the water in his body was evaporating quickly. The dark green runes on his body were also becoming dim. 2% per second. Lu Chen only had a few seconds left. He quickly looked up to find the boss. The boss was easy to find. In the middle of the room, a man had his back facing him. He could not tell what race this guy was. His entire body was covered in flames. He was completely on fire. Lu Chen's eyes widened. He had never seen anyone on fire. Someone actually made it to the 8th level of the Heavenly Punishment Tower. The man slowly turned around. His red eyes looked through the golden flames and landed on Lu Chen. It's a demon. Interesting. This guy immediately recognized Lu Chen's state. The Qianji he mentioned should be the puppet master from the 6th level. Kid, you've reached the end of your journey. To be able to witness my 9 suns flowing flame art, your trip to the Jiuqian was not in vain. Lu Chen roughly guessed that the other party's state should be similar to the 3 transformations of demons and gods. However, the effect of his 9 suns flowing flame art was to cover his entire body in flames. Lu Chen did not have time to talk to him. He started to attack with Ghost Shadow Layer. The man snorted. Why are you in such a hurry to attack? Are you unable to withstand the heavenly punishment? You dare to use an earth-grade martial technique in front of me? Flowing flame, mystifying track. The man suddenly turned into dozens of flaming lights and shot out in all directions. Lu Yin quickly pierced through the illusions. At the same time, a large hole appeared on the illusions as if they were burned by fire. Following that, the illusions that were burned instantly evaporated. Lu Chen was shocked. That guy's flowing flame, mystifying track could actually clear illusions? Do you want to ascend? You have fewer and fewer choices. The man's voice came from all directions. Lu Chen frowned. His ghost shadow layer had been seen through by this guy. Now, he could only fight head-on. To fight this kind of guy, the level of his movement skill must be high enough. Although Lu Chen's other movement skills were low level, with the no cooldown attribute, the nature of the skill was completely different. As the number of ghost shadows decreased, Lu Chen continued to descend and change his position. Seeing that there were only 2 ghost shadows left, Lu Chen suddenly controlled the other ghost shadow to rush in his direction. All the surrounding flowing flame, mystifying track dragged their fiery tails and rushed over. Now's the time. If he could not find the enemy's real body, then he would let the enemy's real body come to him. If he let those balls of fire gather, he would have a way to deal with Fireman. When the last ghost shadow and Lu Chen's real body gathered together, the enemy would definitely attack him. Now is the best time for Lu Chen to test the enemy's real body. Dark Element Transformation. 3000 Body Flicker. Continuous Slash. Lu Chen created another illusion. While his real body had already launched 11 jumping attacks on the surrounding balls of fire. The 11 attacks all hit the balls of fire. The moves directly passed through the flames, without showing any damage value or any status like immune. Since the first wave of 3000 Body Flickering Slash did not find a real body, Lu Chen quickly followed up with another 3000 Body Flickering Slash. For a moment, Lu Chen's figure turned into a green shadow, jumping wildly in a group of balls of fire. Damn it, this guy's skills don't have cooldowns. A voice finally could not help but curse. What kind of scoundrel is this? Chapter 463. Fireman could see that the guy's skill really had no cooldown. In Jiuqian, even the heaven-level skill had a cooldown. Could it be the effect of a forbidden skill? Fireman quickly thought of this possibility. No wonder you can break into my place. Sure enough, you do have something. However, even if you know the forbidden skill, I will still suppress you if you dare to break into the heaven-punishing tower. Fireman said and shouted, Kid, don't be complacent. You are not the only one who can transform. Flowing fire, maze Vulcan. The surrounding fireballs instantly rushed toward Fireman's real body. A large number of fireballs merged. Fireman's real body continued to expand in the flames, growing to about 10 meters. At this time, Fireman's image was clearer. He was wearing golden armor, holding a Zamadeo, and his whole body was wrapped in raging flames. He was huge and majestic like a god. Lucian had seen this kind of god image many times, but it was basically in the form of possession, appearing in the form of an afterimage. Lucian's god of war possession, Lingwu Apothecary's Shinong protection, and Poison Master's possession were all like this. At this time, Fireman directly transformed into Vulcan. This situation was similar to the devil transformation and the 3 transformations of Celestial and Demon. Fireman could guard the 8th floor of the heaven-punishing tower. Obviously, the quality of his skill was far beyond the devil transformation. It was probably on the same level as the 3 transformations of Celestial and Demon. Lucian stopped and stared at Fireman. Fireman might have underestimated Lucian before, but at this moment, both sides had sacrificed their strongest transformation. Obviously, the foreplay was over, and the real battle had just begun. What followed would be an unprecedented, fierce battle. Fireman raised the corner of his mouth slightly. Kid, to be honest, you surprised me. I haven't exercised properly for a long time. Today, I will exercise properly. I'd like to see if your devil transformation or my Vulcan is stronger. After that, Fireman turned into a fireball and shot toward Lucian. 3,000 instantaneous slash. Lucian waited for the opponent to enter the attack range and quickly launched the skill. Just as Lucian left an illusion and was about to attack, Vulcan suddenly turned into countless flames and flashed away. 3,000 body flickers slashes missed. Even Lucian was stunned for a moment. That guy had already found a gap in the 3,000 body flickering slash. 3,000 body flickering slashes left behind illusions to confuse the opponent. At the same time, the real body passed through and swiftly executed 11 consecutive slashes. However, this set of moves was not a seamless attack. After leaving behind an illusion, there was about a fraction of a second for the user to close in. And it was during this brief moment that Vulcan caught him. This guy's reaction was too fast. Just as Lucian's cold voice sounded, flames gathered around Lucian's body. Lucian suddenly turned his head and saw a flaming Zamadeo chopping down. Raging flame saber, Dark Knight blink. At this critical moment, Lucian's figure instantly disappeared from where he stood. Dark Knight shadow. For the second time, Lucian flashed behind Vulcan from another direction. Tiger descends the mountain. Fire God's body once again disintegrated into a large number of flames. After dodging the attack, it instantly condensed beside Lucian. Another saber slashed down. The battle between these two could only be described as unimaginable. The cooldowns of their skills were almost negligible, and their attacks and defenses were seamless. Their figures were difficult to catch. In the blink of an eye, dozens of attacks and defenses had been exchanged. Both sides were competing for a fraction of a second to react. On the 7th floor, Pulling Mountain and the others waited anxiously at the door for a while. Although the lunatic is strong, he doesn't seem to have a deep understanding of the various classes. If he meets an opponent like the Puppet Master, it will be troublesome. Let's go take a look. Yeah, we've been in the 3rd heaven for so long, and we know almost all the classes. Even if we can give the lunatic some information, it'll be good. Pulling Mountain hesitated for a moment and finally nodded. Let me say this first. We'll just take a look at the boss. If we can help, we'll help. If we can't, we'll come down. Don't distract the lunatic. Understood. After some discussion, everyone decided to quietly enter the 8th floor to take a look at the battle. After entering the 8th floor, they did not even have time to see the effects of heavenly punishment. Instead, they first noticed the fierce battle between the two. As soon as they saw the battle between the two, the 11 of them were dumbfounded. The dark green demon and the golden fire god were moving at an unimaginable speed. They dodged, attacked, dodged, and attacked. No one had a chance to breathe, and no one gave the other any time to rest. On the battlefield, only the green and golden figures could be seen jumping and entangling. They thought that the 8th floor would be more difficult and dangerous. However, when they saw the two fight with their own eyes, the intensity of the battle still shocked them to the extreme. Damn, what kind of battle is this? So fast. Both of them are attacking crazily. Their skills have no cooldowns at all. Neither of them has a moment to rest. This kind of intense battle is too terrifying. With their attacks, victory and defeat will be decided in an instant. This is no longer a battle of attributes. It's a battle of reflexes and perseverance. Maintaining such a high level of concentration for a long time, as long as you're human, you'll make mistakes. At this time, it's a battle of who can last longer. If the puppet master of the strange race was the strongest in terms of defense, then the fire god of the 8th floor was the strongest in terms of attack. After learning the 3 transformations of Divine Demon, Lu Chun had never used his skills as crazily as he did today. To be honest, having no cooldowns was not easy to control. Not only was it difficult to control, but it also put an exaggerated burden on his body. Please note, your physical damage has exceeded 40%. The 3 transformations of Divine Demon are accelerating the burden on your body. Blood kept gushing out from the corner of Lu Chen's mouth, but he was still desperately attacking his opponent. At this time, a moment of carelessness could cost him his life. "Ha ha, kid, why are you so slow? It's not satisfying enough. Come on, attack me. I'll let you know what the strongest attack is." 1,000 army break. Lu Chun gritted his teeth. 7 stars chased the moon. He flashed behind Fireman and stabbed Fire God with a normal attack. Fire God turned into flames and quickly gathered beside Lu Chun. You only know how to use normal attacks? It seems that many of your skills can't be used anymore. Go to hell, Fire Extinguishing Blade. Please note, your physical damage has exceeded 50%. The upper limit of pain has increased to 500%. The 3 transformations of Divine Demon are accelerating the burden on your body. At this moment, Lu Chun felt a little powerless. If it was a fair environment, he was confident that he could beat Fire God. However, this was the Heaven's Punishment Tower, and it was the 8th floor. Under the Heaven's Punishment, his condition was getting worse and worse. Almost all of his offensive skills could not be used. Only rapid movement and 7 stars chase the moon were left for him to use. If he could not kill Fire God, even if his skills were not inferior to Fire God's, he would lose without a doubt. He glanced at the skills that could still be used. The only ones left were the 3 transformations of Divine Demon and the Triple Door. The 3 transformations of Divine Demon were useless now. Other than that, he did not even have a single offensive skill. The pain from his body was getting more and more unbearable. Forcefully using his heavily injured body had affected his elixir. His upper limit of life was only half of what it used to be. After enduring a huge amount of pain for a long time, Lu Chen's consciousness seemed to become less clear. His reaction gradually slowed down as well. In this battle, he would die if he was slow. Behind him, Fire God's 9 Suns blazing saber was already coming at him. However, Lu Chun could not react in time. Lu Chen's gaze weakly swept toward the stairs not far away. "Old man Mu Xian, I'm just below you. I'm on the 8th floor. Just one more floor." Chapter 464. This slash landed directly on Lu Chen's waist. Minus 840,000 double critical hit. Minus 500,000 fire damage. Debuff. Ignite. 500,000 fire damage per second. It hit. It instantly took away 1/3 of Lu Chen's HP. He even had to take a huge amount of ignite damage. "Ha, I finally won." Fire God laughed maniacally. "Although you lost to heavenly punishment, which makes me a little unhappy, as long as you're dead, no one will care. The strong never cared about how they won. They only cared about the result. Fire God did not let his guard down. He spun his Zamadeo and flicked it upwards. I'll break your arm first. Flaming Zamadeo. The Zamadeo instantly attacked Lu Qin's right arm several times. It targeted Lu Qin's right arm and dealt a heavy blow. Lu Qin's body was already severely damaged. Now that his right arm suffered such a heavy blow, his right arm's damage had reached 100%. His right arm was dislocated. You have lost your right arm. The combo effect has failed. At the same time, Lu Qin's HP was almost empty. With another ignite effect, his life would be over. Madman. Pulling Mountain saw that Madman was heavily injured and wanted to rush forward with his teammates. At that moment, Lu Qin suddenly shouted, "Don't come over!" He pulled out a Buddhist staff from his back with his left hand. Celestial artifact, Xitigarbha's staff. Buddha saves all lives. Lu Qin shouted with all his might. Triple door. Buddha saves all lives. It forcefully canceled all continuous damage and ensured that Lu Qin would not be killed by Ignite. At the same time, the exclusive weapon had a special effect. All attacks could be turned into Buddhist seal attacks. It canceled the attacks and reduced the chances of activating passive effects by half. The triple door could teleport Lu Qin's Buddhist seal attacks. The Buddhist seal attacks did not have a trajectory, so they were even harder to dodge under the triple door's teleportation. However, considering that Vulcan's reaction was extremely fast, it might not be impossible to dodge. To be on the safe side, Lu Qin had to use the 3 gates to teleport this attack 3 times, using the unpredictable change of position to hit Vulcan. The 3 gates of the triple gate provided 3 opportunities to switch between skills. However, Lu Qin's combo had failed, and his attack speed had been greatly reduced. In that instant, he had only sent out 2 palms. Even Vulcan did not expect that guy to not give up at this time. This move was indeed profound. The fire deity was careless and had a hard time dodging it. A Buddhist seal directly hit his back. Minus 170,000, minus 440,000, double critical hit. The fire god had 27 million HP. Although it was not as high as a boss, it was still much higher than the average player. In addition to his terrifying strength, his 27 million HP was even more terrifying than Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary. In front of 27,610,000 yuan was only a small drop. Lu Qin stared at Vulcan nervously. This attack was nothing, but the key was that it was passive. In a situation where the number of attacks had been greatly reduced and the passive trigger rate had been halved, would these 2 attacks cause stun? Originally, the critical hit rate was 100%. Now, only 1 attack had caused double critical hit. Would it cause stun? There was an additional debuff on Vulcan. Unfortunately, it was not stun. It was not even silent. Lu Qin's heart tightened. Sure enough, there was no critical hit. He had always been unlucky when it came to gambling on luck. Taking a closer look, Lu Qin saw hope again. Elixir depletion. Pure spiritual energy exhausted. Lu Qin was suddenly stunned. Vulcan was out of mana? Speaking of which, Vulcan's appearance was very flashy. His whole body was covered in flames. This skill should have consumed pure spiritual energy. Moreover, that guy had been constantly using techniques, constantly transforming into flames to dodge the attacks. Lu Qin's spiritual energy was definitely high among the players. He had consumed a large number of elixirs, and his spiritual energy was more than 40,000. But even for him, in such a high-intensity battle, although his pure spiritual energy was not completely depleted, there was not much left. The Buddha seal did have the passive trigger rate, but there were still some passives that were not affected, such as Tao Ye's pure spiritual energy combustion. Pure spiritual energy combustion was a special effect attached to the attack, and then the opponent had a certain proportion of pure spiritual energy. This was a passive effect, but the trigger rate was inevitable. The passive nature of pure spiritual energy combustion was not the same as that of critical hits and stun, which were triggered according to probability. Therefore, the Buddha seal did not reduce the trigger rate, and every attack still carried pure spiritual energy combustion. The last two attacks had also triggered a considerable amount of pure spiritual energy burning effect, causing the fire deity, which was already lacking in pure spiritual energy, to be completely depleted. Without pure spiritual energy, it was equivalent to half a silence. It silenced all the active techniques of the clone. Vulcan was a little embarrassed. Not only was he hit by Lu Qin's attack before he died, but he also didn't expect that guy's attack to have a mana-burning effect. The flame effect on his body suddenly disappeared. There was insufficient pure spiritual energy to provide a continuous burning flame effect. What's going on? Lu Qin's voice came from beside him. Even if you have unlimited skills, you will still die without mana. Vulcan still wanted to take pills to restore his spiritual energy, but how could Lu Qin give him time? Demon clone. Demon Kings will refresh. Demon clone. Cancel the Buddhist seal attack. Lu Qin clenched his teeth and launched his clone. His clone made another clone, and more than 30 clones quickly rushed to Vulcan. If he couldn't use active skills, then he could no longer dodge. In the face of more than 30 Lu Qin, even if they all had a broken arm, even if they didn't have the combo effect, Vulcan still couldn't dodge. Minus 140,000, minus 170,000, minus 420,000, double critical hit. A string of small damages quickly floated out, densely packed, and could no longer be seen clearly. At the same time, the debuffs on Fireman were crazily refreshed. Stun, silence, speed reduction, mana burn. The pure spiritual energy recovered from the 3-turn mixed energy pill that he had just eaten was instantly depleted. The damage of Lu Qin's clones was much lower than before, and the passive trigger rate was reduced by half. Fortunately, there were many clones, and their attack speed was not low. Under the siege of a group of clones, Vulcan had no chance to wake up. No, impossible. I can't accept this. Lu Qin was now in a race against time, and he didn't even have time to answer Vulcan. He himself couldn't hold on any longer. Minus 440,000, double critical hit. A moment later, Lu Qin's sword hit a critical hit, and Fireman finally fell. A golden light swept through the entire 8th floor of the Heaven's Punishment Tower, and the Heaven's Punishment disappeared. Lu Qin's injury had reached 74%. The moment Vulcan fell, his legs went soft at the same time, and he also fell. The clones dissipated, and in the field, the two who had been attacking infinitely before both fell to the ground. The two were not far apart. In a daze, Lu Qin seemed to hear Vulcan speak. Kid, you won. I almost got that treasure, but in the end, I didn't get it. If there's a chance, let's have a fair fight outside. Lu Qin could no longer hear clearly, and his consciousness was blurred. Did he win? Very good. There was still the last floor. Chapter 465. This time, Lu Qin had been unconscious for a long time. When he woke up, he realized that his injury ratio had dropped to 65%. However, the Heartless brothers were not in good condition. As they rested by the side, their faces were pale. They had probably forcefully healed him, causing his body to be unable to take it. Madman, you're awake. Brother Monkey saw Lu Qin open his eyes and immediately ran over. Madman, that's great. Madman is awake. Lu Qin nodded. Just as he was about to say something, he suddenly saw his right arm. Below it, there was nothing my arm. Lu Qin's eyes widened. In a faraway place, in the game cabin, Lu Qin subconsciously touched his arm. In reality, Lu Qin's arm was still there. However, the game experience was too realistic, making it difficult for him to distinguish between reality and illusion. No matter what the reality is, in short, in the 9 days, Lu Qin lost his right arm, pulling mountain strength, and the others lowered their heads. Madman, your arm is seriously injured. It can't be reattached. Is there a way to regenerate it? There is a way, but the limb regeneration pill's grade is too high. We can't afford it for the time being. Madman, don't worry. There are so many of us. We can slowly earn military merits. We will definitely exchange for the limb regeneration pill first. Lu Qin was not as desperate as the others. He put down his broken arm and forced a smile at everyone. It'll be fine as long as it can grow back. There's still one last level. I'll go up and take a look. Madman, you're seriously injured. Are you going to die? Chasing Cloud put down the barbecued meat and said angrily. Lu Chun shook his head. There are no more regeneration pills. My injuries can't be healed. Instead of wasting time here, it's better to go up. What Lu Chun said was also the truth. With such a serious injury, it was useless to rely on rest. After being unconscious for so long, Lu Chun was at least conscious. He had nothing to prepare. Once Lu Chun had decided on something, even 8 bulls would not be able to pull him back. At this moment, everyone could only remain silent. Then, at least eat the roasted meat before going. You also need to rest. Chasing Cloud reluctantly found an excuse. The ingredients for my roasted meat are very difficult to find. Lu Chun could not help but laugh. Chasing Cloud really treated the barbecued meat as a treasure. Oh well, this might be the last meal in the 3rd heaven. All right, Lu Chun replied. Lu Chun was on the 8th floor of the Heavenly Punishment Tower, waiting for the fragrant barbecue. Outside the Heavenly Punishment Tower, more and more people were gathering. Tiger King, it's been 2 days. Those people still haven't come out. The Tiger King was in the temporary military tent, surrounded by a group of low-ranking officials. Everyone was frowning. In the beginning, he had planned to capture the group of humans alive and entertain them. But now, the situation was completely different. He hadn't come out for 2 days. That guy was really challenging the tower, and it was very likely that he had broken through more than 1 floor. Mountain Strength and the others had said that they would go to the 8th floor to take a look. If it didn't work, they would retreat to the 7th floor. In fact, they, including Lu Chun, did not know much about the Heavenly Punishment Tower. The Heavenly Punishment Tower could only be entered and not exited. To be precise, one could not leave alive. It was easy to come out. One just had to die. If I remember correctly, after each floor of the Heavenly Punishment Tower is broken through, one cannot stay for more than 24 hours. The Heavenly Punishment Tower will send out a new Tower Guardian. If one stays on a certain floor, they will meet a new Tower Guardian. That group of people has been inside for at least 2 days. That is to say, they have either defeated the Tower Guardian twice or reached at least 2 floors. The cat girl's face lost its charm and was filled with worry. To be able to pass 2 floors of the Heavenly Punishment Tower, what is the strength of that guy? The Tiger King shook his head. What I am worried about now is how many floors that guy has passed. Actually, passing 2 floors is not scary enough. The human titled marshal has the strength to pass 2 floors. Our lieutenant generals can pass 2 floors. However, due to the rules of the Heavenly Punishment Tower, if you can't pass 9 floors, then don't try. Otherwise, the result will be the same no matter how many floors you pass. Even if that kid passes the 8th floor, he still won't be able to get the treasure. I am afraid that if he passes the Heavenly Punishment Tower, a cow-faced officer at the side frowned and continued the Tiger King's words. If he passes the Heavenly Punishment Tower and the treasure appears, then the situation of the 3rd heaven may change greatly. The atmosphere in the tent instantly became extremely solemn. In the vast and boundless 3rd heaven, who knew that in this small place, there might be an event that could change the entire 3rd heaven? All right, how are the other races? They have sent more people, especially the human side. At first, it seemed that they were here to complete the mission, but now it seems that they have taken it seriously. It is said that a titled marshal is rushing over. The titled marshal? The Tiger King narrowed his eyes slightly. He, the Tiger King, didn't care about the other lackeys. He even dared to fight with a human marshal. However, a titled marshal of the human race was a true, super strong warrior. Which titled marshal is it? We haven't found out yet. Our people don't dare to get too close to the titled marshal. The Tiger King nodded. This was understandable. If they were too close, they might be killed by the titled marshal. What about the other races? From the current information, there are strong warriors rushing over. The Tiger King nodded. It seems that barging into the Heavenly Punishment Tower has alarmed the true experts. Tiger King, our beast god general, is also on the way. He will arrive today. This was probably the only good news. If the beast god could come, then the beast race would have enough confidence. If anything happened, they would have the capital to fight. After understanding the situation of the various reinforcements, the Tiger King walked out of the tent and looked around. The various races had already set up camp. Almost all of them had set up temporary barracks. Those fellows must be discussing countermeasures in the barracks. How interesting. He was just a small thief, but he caused such a huge commotion. The Tiger King shook his head and snorted. Lei Ming, you didn't die unjustly. If the beast god can come, I hope that kid can get the treasure. That way, when he comes out, we can snatch it while he's not in the right state. Although this idea was very vague, after all, until now, there was almost no one who really thought that Lu Chun could take away the treasure. The various races also took action to guard against the unexpected. However, many people probably had similar thoughts as the Tiger King. The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. It was obviously more worth it than barging into the heavenly punishment tower. After finishing the barbecued meat, Lu Chun stood up and was about to walk to the 9th level. Suddenly, he froze. Lu Yi seemed to be calling for him. Little Green? Lu Chun frowned and summoned Little Green. Boss, you finally heard me. Lu Yi seemed very anxious. I've been calling for you for a long time. This time, I had to ask Xiaomin to help me call for you. Xiaomin had been calling for Lu Chun. Of course, he could hear her. What's wrong? Don't tell me you want to help me fight the boss. The boss here isn't something you can handle. No, boss, I want to give you this. Lu Yi said anxiously. Open my backpack and take a look. Lu Yi was Lu Chen's ghost pet. There was no transaction between them. Lu Chen directly opened Lu Yi's backpack. However, once he opened Lu Yi's backpack, Lu Chun was stunned. This, Little Green, you actually got so much. Yes, it's a lot. Who asked you to buy so many materials for me? Wouldn't it be a waste if I didn't finish refining them? Lu Yi finally heaved a sigh of relief. Chapter 466. Lu Yi had more than 1,000 regeneration pills in her backpack. Lu Chen was dumbfounded. Boss, hurry up and eat them. My backpack is full. There's another batch of pills coming out soon. There's no place to put them. Lu Chun slowly raised his head, his face full of shock. So, Lu Yi didn't run out because she was seriously injured and was in a hurry to heal him. She just ran out because her backpack was full. Boss, don't worry about your arm. When my alchemy level increases, I can help you refine the limb regeneration pill. It had to be said that Lu Yi was really much stronger than the average having great equipment. Lu Chun felt that the mission back then was really worth it. Let's help Lu Yi clear her backpack first. Lu Chun took out a handful of regeneration pills and put them in his mouth. The regeneration pills were tender and slightly bitter. After melting in his mouth, they gradually became sweeter. After taking them, he felt refreshed, mountain strength, and the others had just watched Lu Chun go upstairs. It was quite tragic. However, that guy suddenly stopped and said something to Lu Yi. Then, he lowered his head and did something. HM, what's wrong with Lunatic? Is his injury acting up? Is he asking Little Green to heal him? Let's go take a look. A group of people rushed behind Lu Chun. Lu Chun turned around, his eyes full of pleading for help. His mouth seemed to be stuffed with a lot of things. He stuttered, Damn. Burp? No, I really can't eat anymore, huh? Lunatic, what are you eating? Why is your mouth full? F***CK. That? Regeneration pills. As he spoke, Lu Chun stuffed another handful of regeneration pills into his mouth. You guys, don't be idle. Help me eat some, huh? The group's eyeballs almost fell out. This guy had a bunch of regeneration pills in his hand. He was stuffing everyone with a handful, but he was still stuffing more into his mouth. It's really a regeneration pill. Wait, isn't there no more merit points? To Beishin and the others, the regeneration pill was an extremely rare resource. Back then, they could not even bear to consume it. However, Madman grabbed a handful of them and stuffed them into his mouth. Big brother, is there anyone who uses regeneration pills like you do? Where did you get so many regeneration pills? Lu Chun swallowed a few regeneration pills with great difficulty. These weren't conjured by me, they were refined by Little Green. Ah! Everyone looked at Little Green in shock. Louis smiled. I'm fine. Boss bought so many ingredients for me last time, so I've been refining pills every day. In the end, my backpack is full. Ah! I can't fit them all in my backpack. Ice Bear was stunned. Big sis, how many did you refine? 1,200 pills. There's still one more furnace that's about to be formed. I really can't put them all down. Ice Bear felt that he should not have asked that question. They had a few regeneration pills, but they kept them in the safest places in their backpacks. They were not willing to use them unless it was a critical moment. In the end, Lu Yi had refined more than 1,000 pills in a few days. This was the difference between them. What was even more infuriating was that even if she could not fit them in her backpack, she did not have to force Madman to eat so much. Madman's injuries were indeed serious, but would he not die from eating like this? Eating regeneration pills will make you bloated. Brother Madman, let's not talk about other things. If this matter were to spread, your name would definitely be carved on a stone tablet and beaten dozens of times every day. Cutthroat shook his head vigorously. This was probably the most wasteful weirdo he had ever seen. If they were not familiar with each other, he would not have been able to hold himself back. Little Green, what's your success rate? Heartless suddenly asked. Regeneration pills are of a lower grade. My success rate is 83%. 83? That can't be. People say that the success rate is at most 30%. Louis smiled slightly. The success rate was related to alchemy talent. Of course, it was also related to the medicinal cauldron. Coincidentally, she was much stronger than others in these two aspects. Heartless, now is not the time to talk about this. Madman, how are your injuries now? Now 25% of my injuries are damaged. Heartless nodded. That's about all I can recover. Madman, your right arm is permanently damaged. No matter how many regeneration pills you eat, it's useless. Lucha nodded. Indeed, eating regeneration pills would not reduce the injury rate. Since it could not be reduced, then he would not eat it. Lu Chun handed the remaining regeneration pills to Mountain Lee. Brother Sean, share these pills with everyone. I don't need them for the time being. Madman, Lu Chun smiled. My current state is already the strongest state I can reach. Mountain Lee nodded. His right arm was gone. This was a permanent injury that could not be healed by regeneration pills. Little Green, come back. Lu Chun put away Lu Yi, turned his head, and stepped into the 9th floor of the Heaven Punisher Pagoda. As soon as he entered the 9th floor of the Heaven Punisher Pagoda, Lu Chun was surprised to find that he did not receive any effects from the Heaven Punisher Pagoda. Lu Chun frowned. He did not dare to be careless, and carefully walked into the depths of the pagoda. This floor was very dark. There was only a fire in front of him. Lu Chun moved in the direction of the fire. When the Heaven Punisher Pagoda's punishment dissipated, he could see the surrounding cells and the cries for help coming from them. However, there were only walls around the 9th floor. It was terrifyingly quiet. Lu Chun turned invisible and used his clone to scout ahead. As he got closer and closer to the fire, Lu Chun found that the fire was coming from a room on the side. No wonder the fire was so dim. Wishful clone, Xiao Min, turn invisible for me. At this moment, a voice suddenly came from the room. Don't clone yourself. Little guy, come in. After almost a year, Lu Chen's heart still beat faster when he heard this voice. This voice, it was old man Mu Xian's. Lu Chen walked directly to the corner. This was a room without a door. In the room, a person was sitting. His back was facing Lu Chen as he leisurely poured himself a cup of tea. You ate so many regeneration pills. Are you thirsty? 50 points of spiritual energy. Do you still like it now? Lu Chen frowned. Mu Xian. Lu Chen sat opposite Mu Xian. Mu Xian pushed a cup of tea in front of him and smiled at the stunned Lu Chen. You have a lot of questions, right? Lu Chen, who was always gluttonous, didn't even drink the 50 points of spiritual energy tea this time. He nodded. Mu Xian smiled and took a sip of his tea. The words +10 floated above his head. I heard you fought with the mountain man once. How did it feel? Lu Chen recalled and said, He was very strong. Did you learn anything from that battle? Lu Chen nodded. It let me know that there was such a terrifying existence. Mu Xian seemed to be satisfied with Lu Chen's answer. He smiled and nodded, but then stopped smiling. What I want to tell you is that the mountain man is only an itinerant immortal. Are you surprised? Lu Chen shook his head. No, you told me you were an itinerant immortal. There's still a gap between us. That's right. You're still not my match, so you can't pass this heaven-punishing tower. Lu Chen frowned. You're the guardian of the 9th floor? Mu Xian nodded. That's right. Heaven's punishment for me is to guard the heaven-punishing tower. Lu Chen's eyes widened. So, if I want to save you, I have to defeat you? Mu Xian smiled. Something like that. Chapter 467. Looking at the stunned Lu Chen, Mu Xian couldn't help but laugh. Ha! To be able to put Mad God in such a difficult position, I feel quite accomplished. Lu Chen's brows furrowed. Old man, you can still laugh at a time like this. Mu Xian smiled. If I did my best, you would be the one to die. If I didn't, I would be the one to die. This is indeed a difficult choice. The Heaven's Punishment Pagoda is more like your punishment. Lu Chen felt an indescribable sense of defeat. From the 1st floor to the 8th floor of the Heaven's Punishment Pagoda, he had gone through many trials and tribulations before finally reaching the 9th floor. But the result was like this: no one would be able to accept it. If the first 8 floors were filled with increasingly powerful opponents, then the 9th floor was an unsolvable choice. The difficulty of this floor wasn't about the strength of the opponents, but the inability to choose. Mu Xian looked at Lu Chen solemnly. I once heard you say that you hate choices, but the most precious right of a person is to choose. Back then, between saving you and not saving you, I chose to save you. Today, between letting you go and not letting you go, I can still choose to let you go. Even if heavens can threaten me, it can't decide my choice. Mu Xian stood up and sighed. Do you know why I asked you to save me when I knew that the Heaven's Punishment Pagoda would let me guard the 9th floor? Lu Chen seemed to have a premonition, and his mood was extremely low. But Mu Xian's question made him want to know the answer. He looked at Mu Xian and asked why. Because there's a treasure here, and I hope you can obtain it. There are treasures everywhere. I can go somewhere else. No, this treasure can't be found anywhere else. You have to come here. Lu Chen only felt sadness in his heart. Kill me and go to the top of the Heaven's Punishment Pagoda to take that treasure. No. Lu Chen pressed his lips and stubbornly said, if you hadn't blocked that attack for me, I would have already disappeared in the sea of people. I don't want to climb up by stepping on your corpse. Kid, you're not just shouldering your own fate. Mu Xian suddenly became strong. Do you see the 3rd heaven? The human race is on the verge of extinction. This is a game. Lu Chen tried his best to find an excuse. You know this isn't just a game. But so what if I lose in Jutian? In the real world, my right arm is still there. Even if the human race is destroyed, we can still live our lives like before. Mu Xian sighed. You're wrong. Do you think your world is very safe? Haven't you thought about it? If Jiotian can achieve quantum transfer, transfer the body from the real world to the game, then what about the reverse? A battle that you can't even imagine is happening in the 4th heaven. If you can play with life in the first 3 heavens, then you will only feel fear in the 4th. Lu Chen suddenly raised his head and looked at Mu Xian in surprise. Mu Xian continued. At level 3, you can extract your attributes. Although the upper limit is not high, it is enough to change the real world. With your intelligence, it is not difficult to guess what kind of effect level 4, 5, or even 9 will have on the real world. You must become stronger, powerful enough to deal with all variables. Don't forget, you still have a sister, friends, and family. If there was anything that could make Lu Chen risk his life, then Lu Yi was definitely the most important. Mu Xian sighed. Itinerant immortal. If you fail the tribulation, you will become an itinerant immortal. I am the same as the mountain man. In your eyes, I may be an insurmountable peak, but the upper limit has already been set. I have reached the end of the Jiotian path. But you are different. The people in the mountains, and I have watched you grow up. You still have so many possibilities. Stepping on the enemy's corpse is easy, but stepping on the corpse of your companions requires courage and boldness. Mu Xian kept looking at Lu Chun, but Lu Chun kept his head lowered. You are Lu Chun, right? Lu Chun raised his head slightly. Mu Xian took out an item and threw it to Lu Chun. Wood Mansion's Grand Elder token. Lu Chun was stunned. So Mu Xian was from the Wood Mansion? Why didn't he think of that? If you need them, take this token and look for them. Don't be in a hurry to go to the fourth heaven. Accumulate your strength first. The mountain man fought with you to let you know that the current you has no ability to fight at the fourth heaven. The third heaven has the second volume of the 9 transformations of gods and demons. Find a way to find it. One more thing, Jiu is my great-granddaughter. If you think it's suitable, you can take this token and propose marriage. Ha ha ha. Of course, this is a digression. After saying that, Mu Xian's body glowed. The light grew brighter and brighter, almost illuminating the entire 9th floor of the Heaven's Punishment Pagoda. Old man, what are you doing? Lu Chen's eyes widened in anger. I know you can't do it, so you can only kill yourself. Don't be nervous. Lu Chen's eyes were red, but he didn't know what to do. Rhubarb jumped out of the beast pen and barked at Mu Xian. Woof, 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 woof. Rhubarb, follow your new master well. Perhaps one day, he will wake you up. Woo woo. The light was extremely bright, and in the end, Mu Xian's body turned into specks of light and gradually disappeared. Mu Xian's final words were left behind. Lu Chen, there's something I still want to tell you. Your father told me that you and Lu Yi are his pride. His biggest regret was that he couldn't watch you grow up. However, I'm luckier than him. I saw that guy wasn't bragging. The golden light dissipated, and Mu Xian had already disappeared. Lu Chen stood there in a daze, his entire body petrified. Mount Li and the others waited for a long time on the 8th floor, but Lu Chen didn't come out. They were worried and went up to the 9th floor. When they reached the 9th floor, they realized that there was no Heaven's Punishment Pagoda. Did Lunatic win? They hurriedly searched and finally found Lu Chen in a room. Lunatic didn't die. That meant that he had passed the 9th floor of the Heaven's Punishment Pagoda. He had passed the Heaven's Punishment Pagoda. That's great, Lunatic. You won. You passed the Heaven's Punishment Pagoda. Lu Chen looked up blankly, but there wasn't the slightest bit of happiness on his face. Mount Li looked around and asked curiously, Lunatic, where's your friend? Quickly go and save your friend. Lu Chen shook his head. He's the guardian of the 9th floor. He's already dead. What? Everyone's cheers suddenly stopped. Dead? Lunatic. The people who understood Lu Chen's feelings the most were these people. During this period of time, Lunatic had wholeheartedly wanted to save his friend, but in the end, this was the result. No one could accept it. All of his hard work had only resulted in failure in the end. However, at this moment, Lu Chen took a deep breath and slowly stood up from his seat. Wait for me here. I'll go to the top floor. Lunatic. Chuang Wu grabbed Lu Chen's hand and looked at Lu Chen worriedly. Are you okay? Lu Chen frowned. I'm fine. I won't let Mu Xian die in vain. I'll find the answer myself. Chapter 468. Next to the 9th floor of the Heaven's Punishment Tower, there was a flight of stairs that led to the top of the Heaven's Punishment Tower. Lu Chen walked up the stairs. After losing his right arm, he was not used to it, but Lu Chen did not care about that. The last floor was very narrow. It was only half a floor high. In a small room, there was only a stone platform in the room, and a rectangular wooden box was floating above it. Lu Chen walked over. Is this the treasure of the Heaven's Punishment Tower? What is it? When Lu Chen approached the wooden box, a thick bolt of lightning fell from the sky, directly exploding outside the tower. Following that, bolts of lightning crazily fell. It was similar to the giant thunder ape's lightning pool, but it was much stronger than the Heaven Grade spell. A cry of surprise came from outside. Lu Chen was slightly surprised. There seemed to be many people outside the tower, but Lu Chen did not have time to think about this. He walked into the wooden box and took it down. Primordial cultivation method. colorless cultivation method, suitable for 10,000 races to cultivate. Cultivation method? Liu Chan was a bit surprised. Speaking of which, his current cultivation method was the lowest level demonic beast breathing method. This is the treasure? I thought it was some kind of magic treasure or equipment. Liu Chan was a bit disappointed, but he still opened the primordial cultivation method. Primordial cultivation method, the beginning of all things, return to origin, defy heaven and earth, roam the universe, look down on the Jiuqian with disdain. Primordial cultivation method, first layer, the beginning of all things. Base spiritual energy of 100,000 points, not satisfied, and at the same time possess two innate powers of opposite attributes, satisfied, can be cultivated. Liu Chen's internal injuries almost flared up. Only a spiritual energy of 100,000 points can start cultivating? The beginning of all things? Is there a mistake? That was a height that even Liu Chen did not dare to think about. Mu Xian, oh Mu Xian, you didn't hesitate to sacrifice yourself so that I could obtain this mental cultivation method. But now I still can't cultivate it. This is a bit surprising. Liu Chen didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He had just planned to use the heaven-punishing pagoda to break through the three heavens. But in the end, he received such bad news. He wasn't qualified to cultivate the Hunyuan Sutra. However, Liu Chen did fulfill the other requirement of the beginning of all things. He had the innate celestial aura and demonic aura. Speaking of which, Liu Chen had never met a person who possessed two types of innate powers at the same time. In that case, this mental cultivation method was very suitable for him. Liu Chen suddenly remembered Mu Xian's warning to him. Don't be in a hurry to go to level 4. Build a solid foundation in level 3 before going. Now, it seemed that his attributes were still not high enough. The higher the requirement, the more powerful the mental cultivation method is. Thinking of this, Liu Chen felt much more relieved. If this mental cultivation method could be learned so easily, it would be a little disappointing. Obviously, this mental cultivation method was not targeted at level 3. Putting away the mental cultivation method, Liu Chen was about to turn and leave when Rhubarb suddenly barked at Liu Chen. Woof woof. Rhubarb, you said there's something inside the stone platform? The treasure-hunting boss spoke. Liu Chen immediately became spirited. He hurriedly turned around and walked to the front of the stone platform. After searching left and right, there was no secret switch on the stone platform. However, there was a line of blurry words right above the stone platform. Liu Chen blew away the dust on the surface of the stone platform, and the words were revealed. Heavenly Works Creation Platform absorbs the spiritual energy of the heavenly punishment for 1,000 years and can create all things. Current accumulated spiritual energy can complete an advancement. After advancement, the highest level can reach is the immortal level, 90% success rate. What is it? Liu Chen was a little confused. This time, the system didn't give him any hints. From the words, it seems like this thing absorbs the spiritual energy of the heavenly punishment for a long time and is an advanced item. With many years of gaming experience, Liu Chen felt that he should put some equipment on it to try. Now, the highest quality equipment on Liu Chen was the Ksitigarbha Buddha staff given to him by the people in the mountains. It was an immortal level item, and the Heavenly Works Creation Platform seemed unable to advance any further. It said that it can be advanced to the immortal level, but it didn't say what level the material is. Then, I should use low-level equipment to advance. It should be the most profitable. Liu Chen wasn't very sure. After thinking about it, Liu Chen decided to take a gamble. After all, it was a free opportunity to advance. Forget it. I'll take you Wishful Long Staff. After that, Liu Chen directly put the Wishful Long Staff on it. After getting the Devil's Edge and the Water Scale Sword, Liu Chen no longer used this weapon. He just transferred the special effect on it to the Water Scale Sword. However, as the equipment that had accompanied him for the longest time, Liu Chen had not thrown this weapon away. Anyway, the Heavenly Works Creation Platform could advance equipment to the immortal level. Although the 90% chance was high, it did not rule out that Liu Chen encountered the 10% chance. In that case, the wishful long staff was the most suitable. If it was successful, he would see which weapon it changed to. It would not be a pity if it was destroyed. The wishful long staff had been lying on the Heavenly Works creation platform as an experimental product. Lu Chen waited for the final result. After a while, the Heavenly Works creation platform lit up slightly. Then, thunder roared outside the Heavenly Punishment Tower, and a large number of lightning struck the top of the Heavenly Punishment Tower. On the Heavenly Works creation platform, all the heavenly punishment processes from the first floor to the 8th floor were simulated. Metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, thunder, and the black and white dual gas that Lu Chen had never seen before. That should be the original heavenly punishment on the 9th floor. The 9 major heavenly punishment took turns to temper the wishful long staff on the Heavenly Works creation platform. The color of the wishful long staff changed from purple to orange to dark gold, and then to dazzling gold. After a long time, the shape of the wishful long staff suddenly changed. There was a golden liquid metal, like the roots of a plant, wrapped around the long staff, forming a golden 9-dragon tattoo. Each dragon was lifelike, baring its fangs and brandishing its claws. After tempering for a long time, the metal on the wishful long staff had been fixed and integrated with the staff. The originally simple wishful long staff had become golden, entwined with 9 dragons, and extraordinary. As the tempering continued, the wishful long staff seemed to be unable to withstand the refining of the heavenly punishment, and the staff trembled slightly. Lu Chen was getting more and more nervous. It would not collapse in the end, right? Come on, Jingu staff, stand up. You can do it. Stand up. About 2 or 3 minutes later, the wishful long staff finally stopped trembling and exuded a faint golden light. This golden light was brighter than the dark gold equipment. According to Lu Chen's experience, it should be an immortal weapon. Advancement complete. Lu Chen hurriedly took back the wishful long staff. At this time, the item information given by the system had changed. 9 dragon pillars of heavenly punishment, immortal weapon. The attack was 30,000 to 35,000, and the attributes were increased by more than 20,000. These were secondary. The key was the effect of the 9 dragon pillars. Double critical hit chance increased by 25%. Critical hit damage increased by 100%. Immortal weapons do not occupy weapon and equipment slots, and can be switched at any time during battle. Special Effect 1. 9 dragons destroy the world. The 9 dragons of heavenly punishment materialize and attack the target area. Special Effect 2. Splitting Mount Hua. After the 9 dragon pillars bombard the ground 500 meters long and 50 meters wide will be destroyed. The target hit will be damaged and stunned. When the Splitting Mount Hua is activated, the opponent will be deterred by the 9 dragon pillars. Displacement skills below the heavenly level will be ineffective. Movement speed will be reduced by 50%, and physical defense will be ineffective. The skill can be stored 3 times. After one use, it will enter a cooldown time, and it will recover every 60 seconds. Special Effect 3. Sure Hit. Passive. Normal attacks ignore evasion attributes below the heavenly level. The attack will hit. Special Effect 4. Mirror Image Possession. Attack has a 10% chance of triggering mirror image possession. When mirror image possession is triggered, the mirror image will repeat the previous attack or technique, causing the same damage and effect. Chapter 469. The new wishful long staff had even changed its name, 9 dragon pillars of heavenly punishment. Lu Chen's critical strike had already overflowed. The 25% increase in critical strike chance was useless, but the increase in critical strike damage was definitely what Lu Chen needed. The 9 Dragons area of destruction skill should be much more powerful than the Great Ravager's area of effect and lava ground fire. In the 3rd heaven or even higher heaven domain, Lu Chen really lacked such a powerful area of effect skill. The mountain splitting strength was an upgraded version of the Earth Chasm. In the future, he would no longer have to worry about Lu Chen's control skills not being able to hit people. At the same time, the basic attack ignored evasion. Although Lu Chun had not encountered a basic attack evasion skill, he estimated that he would encounter it in the future. This skill would definitely be useful in the future. The last special effect of the 9 Dragon Pillars of Heavenly Punishment was definitely its essence. 10% chance to repeat the previous attack, including the basic attack or the skill. In other words, Lu Chun had a certain chance to have a skill critical strike. This is a bit scary. It's a bit strong. Lu Chun carefully put away the 9 Dragon Pillars. It seemed that he had another celestial level weapon. With the mixed yuan cultivation technique in hand and the wishful long staff in hand, Lu Chun could finally leave the Heaven Punishment Tower. Back on the 9th floor, Ba Shan and the others surrounded him. The first thing they saw was the golden staff in Lu Chun's hand. This is a celestial level weapon. Lu Chun smiled slightly. Yes. Then, he pushed the 9 Dragon Pillars of Heavenly Punishment's attribute panel to everyone. Damn, this attribute is too strong. In one breath, it adds 30,000 attack, 23,000 strength, and 25,000 physique. It's worthy of being a celestial weapon. It's too heaven-defying. These 4 special effects. Damn, it directly suppressed all movement skills below the heaven level. Does it have to be so overbearing? The last one is mirror image possession. Does this mean that there's a chance to cause a skill critical strike? A 10% chance of mirror image possession appearing once in 10 attacks. This is a bit too much. Everyone was looking at Lu Chun's new weapon when Lu Chun suddenly said, "Someone was talking outside. Did you hear that?" Returning to the main topic, everyone became serious. Yes, I heard it. The thunder outside just now seemed to have blasted out quite a few people. Lu Chun narrowed his eyes. Are they here to snatch the treasure? Mountain Strength frowned. It's possible. I sent a message to Old 5. He said that someone has been in the Heaven's Punishment Tower for more than 2 days. Now, it has attracted the attention of all the major races. Many troops are waiting here. There are at least a few thousand people outside. Old 5's original words were that the one who challenged the tower this time seemed to be a human and had already alerted the titled marshal to come over. If that fellow is valuable, the titled marshal will make a move. If that fellow obtains the heaven-punishing tower's most valuable treasure, the human must protect the treasure. Lu Chun immediately frowned. Therefore, the human titled marshal did not help him because he was a human. He wanted to protect the treasure first. Madman, what do we do now? After going through the Heaven's Punishment Tower, Lu Chun had become the backbone of the team. There was no doubt about this. Lu Chun coldly snorted. You want to steal my treasure? You're dreaming. After saying that, Lu Chun looked at everyone. The Heaven's Punishment Tower in front should have a new guardian in place. We can't go back the way we came. We have to go out through the exit. We can't stay here for long. If the new guardian of the 9th floor comes, I won't be a match for him. The exit is at the 9th floor. I'm not in a good state right now, and I don't have the confidence to win. Follow me closely later. There might only be one chance to break out. Mountain Strength and the others nodded heavily. Standing in front of the teleportation gate on the 9th floor, Lu Chun took a deep breath and looked back at his companions. Are you ready? Mountain Strength and the others nodded. Let's go. Outside the Heaven's Punishment Tower, the major races had already set up camp here for a while. Originally, such a long time of waiting would have caused everyone to relax. However, the lightning and thunder from before made everyone perk up. What was the meaning of the lightning just now? Did those people get the treasure? That fellow might be coming out soon. The major races were already on standby as they stared at the entrance of the Heaven's Punishment Tower. Of course, the major races still had to be on guard against each other. Thus, the major races were arranged in a square formation with a certain distance between them. The square formations surrounded the Heaven's Punishment Tower. Everyone, stay alert. There can't be any mistakes in this matter. No matter if it's a living person or a dead person, we have to snatch it. Unbelievable. He actually stayed in the Heaven's Punishment Tower for so long. I wonder how many floors he passed. In the human army, a major general was standing behind a white-robed man with his blade in hand. The man looked to be in his 30s and looked no different from an earthling. No one knew if he was from Earth or not. His ID was hidden, and he was wearing a white outfit. No one could see his equipment level, and there was a purple gold sword in front of him. This sword was very interesting. Its body was suffused with a purple light mist. If one did not know his identity, they would definitely think that this was a purple weapon. However, those who were familiar with him knew that this guy had used this trick to deceive many people. If one looked closely, they would find that the purple gold sword emitted a purple mist that was purer and brighter than a normal purple weapon. Equipment with a color was the symbol of an immortal weapon. It was just that its color was similar to the special effect of a purple weapon. Although this person hid his ID, the other camp's experts recognized him. The human titled Marshal, Purple Lightning Marshal Wang Chuan. Marshal, if those people come out, we... Hung Dao asked carefully. Look, the other races are also staring at the exit. Although your strength is unparalleled, I'm afraid it will be extremely difficult to snatch them away. Lieutenant General Yu Fei said, Marshal, we have to save them. They have the strength to stay in the Heaven's Punishment Tower for so long. Their strength is definitely not ordinary. With a little more time, they might be able to become the strongest among us humans and defend against external enemies. Wang Chuan glanced sideways at Yu Fei. This kid looked like the kind of young man who wanted to revitalize the human race. Interesting, the two subordinates seemed to have opposite opinions. One was afraid of battle, while the other was radical. Wang Chuan's face was calm as he calmly spat out 4 words. Wait and see. Not far away from the human army was the demonic beast army. Tiger King was also standing behind a human man. This man was dressed in green and carried a wooden zither on his back. He did not have the appearance of a demonic beast at all. He was no different from a normal person. The only difference was that if this guy was on Earth, he would definitely be a top-notch handsome young man. Too handsome. So handsome that it was a little hard to tell if he was male or female. He was handsome with long hair, but his eyes were charming. There were even signs of makeup on his face. For this person to be able to stand in front of Tiger King, his status was obviously not ordinary. Tiger King said in a low voice, Beast God, that kid is about to come out. Beast God's lips curled up slightly, and he said in a strange voice, making me wait for so long? It's time for him to come out. Chapter 470. At this moment, a white light suddenly descended from the sky in front of the Heaven's Punishment Tower and landed at the exit of the Heaven's Punishment Tower. Everyone was on full alert at this moment. They had been waiting for this moment for so many days. Even though the white light was dazzling, these people still tried their best to stare at the white light. When they discovered that there were more than a dozen figures in the white light, Beast God narrowed his eyes slightly. They came out alive. To be able to come out alive from the Heaven's Punishment Tower could only mean one thing. They had passed the Heaven's Punishment Tower and obtained the treasure. All the commanders of the army almost said in unison, snatch them at all costs. Even Wang Chuan, who was quietly observing, realized that he had already obtained the result he wanted. Now, there was no time to hesitate. Everyone, charge. We must snatch the treasure. Facing the treasure of the Heaven's Punishment Tower, these people were like hungry beasts, pouncing on the figures in the white light. All kinds of displacement skills and long-range skills pierced through the sky and surged over from all directions. At this moment, a huge stone pillar suddenly fell from the sky and smashed into the middle of the battlefield. 9-dragon pillar, 9 dragons destroy the world, a voice shouted angrily. The 9 dragon carvings on the huge stone pillar suddenly seemed to come alive. 9 huge dragons broke free from the stone pillar and rushed in all directions. 9 huge dragons, 9 different types of attacks, bombarded the surroundings. Boom, 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 boom. A series of explosions exploded in the field, and the whole place was filled with wails. Oh my God, what kind of cultivation technique is this? Are these dragons real? Quick, avoid the attack. Is that stone pillar the treasure of the Heaven's Punishment Tower? is an immortal artifact. Taking advantage of the chaos, Lu Chun shouted, 9 wings. Another 9-winged celestial dragon appeared. After the 9-winged celestial dragon appeared, more than a dozen figures quickly jumped onto its back. 9-dragon pillar, come back. The huge stone pillar suddenly shrunk into a normal iron rod and returned to Lu Chen's hand. However, the 9 huge dragons were still wreaking havoc in the surroundings, crazily attacking the target area. Was this the power of 9 dragons destroy the world? Now, Lu Chen's condition was very bad, but the damage of 9 dragons destroy the world was already very terrifying. Ordinary soldiers basically could not withstand it. Even for those powerhouses, it was difficult for them to get close to Lu Chun and the others immediately. Only a few super experts were able to unleash their high-level movement techniques and madly move toward Lu Chun and the others under the influence of the 9 dragons. You want to run? No way. Leave your treasures behind, and I can spare your life. Lu Chun coldly snorted. He raised the 9-dragon pillar and smashed it down. Mountain-splitting strike. The 9 dragon pillars of heavenly punishments splitting Mount Hua special effect was completely different from the wishful staff. The wishful staff transformed into a shadow to cause area damage and control, but the 9 dragon pillars of heavenly punishment was simpler and more direct. A beam of golden light descended from the sky and landed on the ground in a designated area that was 500 meters long and 50 meters wide. Why is my void transference not working? Impossible. My movement technique is a heaven-class movement technique. Why is it being suppressed? In an instant, the ground was smashed into a neat area by the golden light. Although the golden light was invisible, after being hit by the golden light, all the experts were stunned without exception. They were stunned by Lu Chun. If it were any other time, Lu Chun would have sentenced them to death. However, at this moment, Lu Chun was in a bad state. His HP and damage were greatly reduced. Coupled with the local army on the ground, they could not stay for long. Lu Chun stood on the head of the 9-winged dragon and squinted at these people. He shouted, "You want the treasure of the heavenly punishment tower? Remember my name. Solipsistic." Lu Chun finally revealed his golden ID. This ID was so conspicuous that everyone remembered it. 9-winged dragon. Let's go. The 9-winged dragon spread its wings and soared into the sky. Oh no, he's running. Chase him. Why won't my mount move? What? His mount has draconic aura. How is this possible? No one saw that Lu Chen's body could not bear the burden after using 2 immortal weapon skills consecutively. He spat out a mouthful of blood and collapsed on the 9-winged dragon's back. When the experts came to their senses, they could only see that the 9-winged dragon turned into a small black dot and disappeared into the distance. No one expected that in front of the army of thousands, that group of people actually ran away in front of everyone. That guy really did get the treasure of the heavenly punishment tower. Send the order immediately to hunt down the human solipsistic. Solipsistic? How arrogant, daring to leave his ID? Very good. It's easy now that we have a target. He can run, but the temple can't. Damn it. If he didn't have that immortal weapon, 9 dragon pillars, I don't know if the heavenly punishment tower is that thing. Anyway, it should only be stronger. Great. Our Sky Fiend clan must get this thing. Send the order immediately. 3 heavens to hunt down the solipsistic. Forget Chuan narrowed his eyes slightly. Speaking of which, that guy's train of thought was still very clear. The moment he was teleported out, he activated a powerful group attack skill, then brought people up to his mount and used group control to block them. Step by step, orderly and very calm. Why would such a person deliberately leave his ID and let others have a trace to follow? Doing so was equivalent to making it clear that all the major clans would hunt him down. When everyone was stunned just now, that guy did not show any mercy to him. He also seemed to not trust him as a human. That guy seems to have lost an arm. Yu Fei, did he have a right arm before? Yu Fei hurriedly recalled. Marshal Forget Chuan, his body was not damaged before. Forget Chuan nodded. Looks like he's also an arrow at the end of its flight. Just now should be his last gamble. I didn't expect him to successfully escape. Send the order immediately to capture the solipsistic. Yufei was puzzled. Marshal, are we going to capture him too? What I mean is he's also a human. It's a good thing for us that he got the treasure. Forget Chuan smiled coldly. How can it be a good thing for an uncontrolled person to get the treasure? Send the order immediately. Although Yufei had doubts in his heart, he still obeyed. Frenzy fainted again. The effect of his body being damaged was far greater than imagined. Using too many skills would cause his injuries to worsen. This was the same as in reality. The immortal equipment, 9 dragon pillars of heavenly punishment, was extremely powerful. Using 2 skills consecutively, Lu Chun, who had 25% of his body damaged, directly affected his wounds, causing them to worsen rapidly. Not good. Frenzy's damage has reached at least 40%, and it's still worsening. Old injuries are the most taboo before they recover. Frenzy is covering for us. Are there any more regeneration pills? Quickly give them to Frenzy. Heartless shook his head. In such a short time, I'm afraid he'll develop a resistance to the regeneration pills. That way, the effects of the regeneration pills will be reduced in the future. We can't rush to use the regeneration pills. We need to find a place to let Frenzy recuperate for a period of time. Find a place? Chasing Cloud frowned. The name solipsistic will probably spread throughout the entire third heaven in a few days. Where can we find a place to recuperate? The world is so big. Is there a place for him? Chapter 471. 9 Wings Understood Human Nature. After Lu Chan fainted, he listened to Mountain Strength's suggestion and landed by a lake deep in the mountains. After landing, everyone checked the surroundings and built a simple camp by the lake. Everyone started a fire, fetched water, and prepared ingredients. In the evening, Lu Chun was awakened by the fragrance of barbecue. He opened his eyes and saw everyone's busy figures. He roughly recalled what had happened and understood the situation. After running out of the Heaven Punishment Tower, Mountain Strength and the rest should have found a safe place to camp. Frenzy, you're awake. Frost Dance ran over. Drink some water. Chasing Cloud's barbecue will be done soon. Lu Chen's voice was weak. That guy still has barbecue? Is his backpack full of barbecue? Chasing Cloud carefully checked the barbecue and said, I took out my years of savings. It's a big loss. Frenzy, you're awake. You should rest first. Ice Bear carried a pile of firewood from elsewhere and placed it beside the fire. Monkey, I'll be on duty tonight. You should rest. Everyone was busy. Luchin sat there and looked around. There was a lake about 10 meters in front of him. The surrounding area had been cleared out. Behind him was a dense forest. A few people were patrolling in all directions. Although he was in the wilderness and was seriously injured, Lu Chun felt an unprecedented sense of security. Chasing Cloud barbecue was done. Everyone could eat their fill. Only Chasing Cloud felt heartache as he watched this group of people eat and drink. Of course, no one cared about his feelings. Chasing Cloud, another piece. Ice Bear, you're still eating. The ingredients are hard to find. You're chef. We love your barbecue. You should be happy. I beg you, I don't like it. Seeing Chasing Cloud, who had always been cold, being insulted by Ice Bear, the group couldn't help but laugh. Luchin also laughed. After eating and drinking, everyone gathered around Luchin to discuss the next step. Frenzy, so your name is solipsistic. To be honest, your name is really appropriate. Madman, when you left the Heaven's Punishment Tower, you purposely revealed your ID. Was it to protect us? You're thinking too much. Since we're a team, we won't leave you alone. Luchin did have this idea at the time. He could avoid being hunted by the myriad races alone, but if his teammates became targets, they would definitely die. In reality, Lu Chun had also achieved his goal. The myriad races only issued a warrant for him, but they did not issue a warrant for Libation and the others. Brother Sean, staying here is not a long-term solution. Where do you think we should go next? Libation had been in the third heaven for the longest time and had the most experience. He thought for a while and said, There's a place, but it is a little dangerous. Where is it? Tell me first. The City of Exiles. The players in the City of Exiles are all wanted players. Because wanted players cannot participate in the military rank promotion test, even if they have enough merit points, the people there will not be able to increase their military rank. But in the City of Exiles, you can still participate in the promotion test and increase your military rank. But it's only an increase in military rank because there must be a reason for the wanted list. Just like Madman, even if he becomes a title marshal, they will still issue a warrant for him. The bearded man shook his head. If that's the case, what's the use of increasing your military rank? Libishan said, it's useful. With an increase in military rank, the treatment of the quartermaster will be different. Also, if you become a marshal, you can participate in a martial arts competition. That's the only way to reach the fourth heaven. Also, outside the City of Exiles is the Myriad Races battlefield. There might be opportunities in some areas. That place is full of danger, but it is also full of opportunities. Most importantly, the City of Exiles will hide all the information of the players. It will be very difficult for others to find us. Lu Chan frowned slightly. It seemed like the City of Exiles was the best place for him to train. Libishan thought for a while and shook his head. There's one bad thing about the City of Exiles. In the City of Exiles, players are forced to wear masks. All small teams are separated, and everyone participates in battles as individuals. If we go, we will be separated. What's the use of that? Madman is in such a bad state now. His injuries are on top of his injuries, and his right arm is gone. His combat power might not even be half of his usual. That's right. If we stay together, we can take care of each other. If we are separated, it will be meaningless. After thinking for a while, Lu Chan suddenly said, Brother Sean, you don't have to accompany me. I will go to the City of Exiles by myself. Madman, but your current situation is very bad. Heartless said hurriedly. Don't underestimate the injuries on your body. You use an extremely powerful technique when you are heavily injured. Your body is on the verge of collapse. It is very dangerous. That's right. I have also checked the injuries on your body. The situation is more serious than I thought. I think it might be because you took too many regeneration pills in one go. Then you were heavily injured again. You will need at least 2 or 3 months to take a pill like the regeneration pill to recover your body. Luchan nodded. His body was indeed in a very bad state. Even though he had eaten chasing clouds roasted meat and hadn't used any techniques, the injuries on his body were still increasing. It should be the result of his injuries worsening on their own. Everyone, don't worry about me. Although my injuries are serious, I am confident that I can protect myself in the City of Exiles, Lu Chan said. At most, I won't risk my life so much. I might even not carry out the mission. When my injuries recover, there will be no need to worry. Instead, I need to obtain information about the outside world, so I need your help. After everyone heard this, they fell silent. If Lu Chan could really do what he said, there was no need to be too nervous. After all, Madman's strength was obvious to all. Obtaining information was also very important to Madman. The City of Exiles was very isolated from the outside world. Entering the City of Exiles was equivalent to being cut off from the outside world. It would be good for them to gather information nearby. On the other hand, they were also safe. Madman had attracted everyone's hatred in the Heaven's Punishment Pagoda. No one cared about a few small fries like them. Madman, are you sure there's no problem? Luchan smiled and nodded. No problem. After pondering for a moment, everyone finally agreed to Lu Chen's suggestion. After camping in the forest for 3 days, Lu Chen's situation seemed to have improved a lot. Everyone added him as a friend and left private voice transmission talismans. In order not to attract attention, Lu Chen parted ways with Mount Li and the others and headed to the City of Exiles. After walking for a short distance, Lu Chen could not help but cough up a large mouthful of blood. He looked around. Fortunately, Mount Li and the others had already gone far away. Shaking his head, Lu Chen sighed. A minute. Why are my injuries getting worse? The Heaven's Punishment Pagoda. Although I have passed through the Heaven's Punishment Pagoda, I lost my right arm and was seriously injured. I am wanted by tens of thousands of races. is really terrible. As it turned out, the Heaven's Punishment Pagoda was really not that easy to pass. Even someone as strong as Lu Chun almost fell into a desperate situation. If it were not for his teammates by his side several times, he would have died several times. This was probably the worst time Lu Chun had been in the Joqian. Taking a deep breath, Lu Chun continued to head to the City of Exiles. The City of Exiles. Is that the place where I can turn the tables? Chapter 472. The City of Exiles was located at the front line of the Myriad Tribe battlefield. The people here were all fugitives. They were wanted and had nowhere else to go, so they could only come to this dangerous place. This place was naturally filled with all sorts of people from all walks of life. Standing in front of the City of Exiles' walls, the guards didn't even ask Lu Chun any questions and directly let him in. Did outsiders sneak in? That was impossible. Forget about outsiders trying to sneak in. There was only one outcome for anyone who tried to gather information: death. Anyone who tried to gather information here would definitely be suicidal. When Lu Chun entered the city, he noticed that the city gate was very strange. There were only people entering, but no one coming out. It was as if this was the end of the Joqian Road for these people. There were only people who walked in, but no one continued to walk. After entering the city, Lu Chun saw that everyone's IDs were hidden. Most of them were wearing black veils. Only a few newcomers like him didn't wear masks. Since he was missing a right arm, many people around him looked in his direction. Missing an arm? He's so miserable. No wonder he came to the City of Exiles. I bet he won't last a month. He'll die on the battlefield. Why doesn't this piece of trash give up? He came to the City of Exiles to struggle at death's door for a few more days. Lu Chun followed the newcomers in a daze. Suddenly, a sergeant walked in front of Lu Chun. He didn't look at Lu Chun and said impatiently, "Follow me." Lu Chun frowned slightly. "Where are we going?" "To collect your equipment." "Of course." The man glanced at Lu Chun's broken arm and sneered. "It's very likely that it's yours." Lu Chun didn't say anything and followed the man. Not long after, the man brought Lu Chun to a military supply center. This wasn't a place to exchange military merit points for items. A staff sergeant sat inside and threw bags of coarse cloth to the newcomers. When it came to Lu Chun, the man tossed him a package. "There's an exile mask inside. If there's anything dirty on it, go wash it yourself. There's also your accommodation card. Go check it yourself. Be careful when you sleep. We won't care if you get killed." The person behind him gave Lu Chun a nudge. Lu Chun quickly took a few steps forward and came to the side of the military supply depot. He opened the packages with the other rookies. Obtained item: bloody exiled mask. This was a fashion item without any attribute bonuses. Its appearance was exactly the same as the masks on the faces of the people he had seen before. It was an expressionless face with a hint of strangeness. There were bloodstains on the mask, probably left by the previous person. In addition, the mask had another attribute. After wearing it, unless one left the City of Exiles, they could not take it off. In addition to the exiled mask, there was also a wooden sign with the words "Su Room 144, Bed 1, and a pillow. Lu Chun stood up and found the residential area. He found Su 144. It was a small room with a long row of bunks. There was a serial number pasted on the wall in front of the bunks, and there was nothing else in the room. Lu Chun was lucky this time. Bed 1 was on the other side of the door. It was a small single bed, but that was the only good thing about it. It was a place where one could only lie down. It had nothing to do with a room. A small hotel from the 80s? Lu Chun shook his head. I can't believe I've fallen to such a state. It's tragic. If Lu, E, and the others knew about his current situation, their jaws would probably drop. He was the strongest on Earth, the strongest in the second heaven, and at the third heaven he was seriously injured and had lost an arm. He even had to live in such a shabby place. After 2 days of traveling, Lu Chun was tired. He found a water source outside the house and washed the mask clean. He put on a mask and lay on the bed to rest. "Little Fur Ball, help me keep an eye on things. I'm going to sleep for a while." Little Fur Ball jumped out. The little thing lay on the pillow and curled up next to Lu Chun's head. "Don't eat anything. Lu Chun patted Little Furball and closed his eyes to rest. With Little Furball beside him, Lu Chun slept soundly. He didn't know how long he had slept, but he was woken up by the noise around him. When he opened his eyes, Lu Chun realized that it was already evening. There were many people in the room. These people were all wearing masks and had blood on their bodies. They lay on their bunks to rest as soon as they came back. The expected boss of the prison cell didn't appear. The people here didn't seem to have the energy to find trouble with others. They simply lived their own lives. They didn't even feel that there was a new person in the room. It was as if they were used to it. Across the aisle, the old man in bed, too, leaned over and saw that Lu Chun had opened his eyes. "Hey, newcomer, and you missing an arm? Umph, that bed is indeed the bed of misfortune." Lu Chun frowned slightly. "Misfortune?" "Yes, the previous owner of this bed was quite strong here. He's dead now. Your supplies should be that guy's." Lu Chun smiled. "I've been quite unlucky recently." The old man was injured. It was a physical wound. He was probably in pain all over. He took out a regeneration pill and swallowed it. "Hey, kid, how many people are you want to buy?" Lu Chun frowned slightly. Wasn't this a sensitive topic? Could it be that this guy had a gap? "Hey, look at you. Don't worry, there can't be any foreign races here. You can tell when you're on the battlefield. They're all risking their lives to kill the enemy. Even if it's a gap, we welcome it. You don't have to tell me who you're wanted by. Just give me a number. The people here don't have much entertainment. They usually like to compete in this." Lu Chun couldn't help but smile. If there was a gap like this, it was indeed not a bad thing. Seeing that Lu Chun still didn't speak, the old man pulled the guy next to him. "What?" That person was fierce. "Hey, how many people are you want to buy?" "A second-class city." "What's wrong?" The old man turned his head and smiled at Lu Chun. What he meant was that he had seen it. The others didn't take it seriously. Lu Chun thought about it. This question was a bit difficult to answer. How many people were he wanted by? It was possible that he was wanted by all the races in the third heaven. "Big brother, how many people are you wanted by?" "Me? Not many. 3 third-class cities and 1 second-class city. Those guys wanted my life. I had no choice but to come here." This topic immediately attracted the attention of the people around him. "Old man, you're such a coward. I'm wanted by 3 second-class cities, and you're not afraid. If you're not afraid, why did you come to the city of exiles? You won't die." "I heard that someone was wanted by a first-class city. The guy is really ruthless." "So what? Have you heard of someone wanted by the 5 great powers? That's what you call a desperate situation." The group of people chatted enthusiastically. It seemed that being wanted by a higher-class city had become something to brag about. "Hey, kid, you don't have to hide it. You can see it today. Who knows? Maybe he will be reincarnated tomorrow. Tell me, how many cities are you wanted by?" Lu Chun sat up and picked up the little fur ball who was sleeping more soundly than him. He smiled. "Not many. I'm wanted by 1 force." "1 force? 5 great powers? It can't be. Is there a ranking of forces? Roughly how many?" "There's no ranking." Lu Chun smiled. "It's just a nameless force." "That's right." Lu Chun was wanted by the entire server. Was there a ranking in the entire server? Did the entire server have a name? Obviously not. Chapter 473. On his first day in the City of Exiles, Lu Chun had a relatively peaceful time. Most of the people here only cared about themselves. Some of them were unreasonable. As long as you didn't provoke them, they wouldn't come looking for trouble. The other people in the dormitory often went to the battlefield to earn military merits. Once their military ranks rose, they could stay in single rooms. If they had the opportunity to raise their military ranks, they could even leave the City of Exiles and start over. Of course, that was for people who were wanted by other forces. They had the opportunity to start over, but Lu Chun obviously didn't have such an opportunity. His only chance was to become a titled marshal and participate in the martial arts competition. Currently, Lu Chun's condition was still deteriorating. Even rising from the ashes couldn't remove the damage to his body. This wasn't a special effect or a debuff. On this day, Lu Chun still didn't go to the battlefield. Seeing that there was no one in the room, Lu Chun summoned Lu Yi. "Little Green, when can you refine the limb regeneration pill?" Lu Yi replied, I still need some time, Lu Chen nodded. It seemed that regenerating his right arm wasn't something that could be done in a short time. Then, when do you think my body can take the limb regeneration pill? About 50 days. But boss, I've studied your injuries. The reason why they deteriorated so quickly, other than the fact that your old injuries haven't healed and you force yourself to fight, is also related to the various heavenly punishments you've received. Is there a way to alleviate it? Lu Chan frowned. I feel that my condition is getting worse and worse. My body's injuries have already reached 55%. I can't fight at all. Boss, I have to prescribe the right medicine according to the types of heavenly punishments you've received. Give me another half a month, and I should be able to stop your injuries from worsening. Lu Chan took a deep breath. It was difficult for Lu Yi to prescribe the right medicine according to the 8 types of heavenly punishments. This wasn't an easy task. However, he didn't know how much his injuries would worsen in half a month. Damn, this is so difficult. Boss, I still lack a few herbs. Can you get them? Lu Chan frowned. There were no pharmacies in the City of Exiles. All the resources had to be obtained from the quartermaster. Tell me what medicine you need. I'll find a way to get it. All right. Lu Yi wrote down the herbs she needed at the moment. She might need other herbs in the future, so she wrote down a part of it for the time being. Lu Chan directly placed the medicinal ingredients that Lu Yi had written down in the custom mission. This way, he could see it when he opened the mission. Looks like I still have to go to the battlefield. I won't do it myself. In the afternoon, the recruitment office was crowded with people. A soldier shouted, "The front lines are in a tight situation. We need 2,000 soldiers. 2,000 spots. If you're a militia captain or above and want military merit, quickly sign up." Lu Chun was speechless. Only militia captains and above could go. He was the one who was a militia, and the other party didn't want him. Someone pushed Lu Chun away from behind. "If you don't want to sign up, then go away. Don't block the way. He's a cripple. Get lost. Don't block me from earning military merit." Lu Chun wanted to use rapid movement to dodge, but as soon as he raised his spirit pill, his whole body was in pain. His body tilted, and he almost fell. "Ha ha! You still want to come to the City of Exiles in this state? Without military merit, you'll starve to death. You should reincarnate soon. This guy is really struggling at death's door." Ha! Lu Chan was about to say something when he suddenly noticed that there was another recruitment office next to this long line. Compared to the long line in front of him, the other side seemed cold and cheerless. There was a wooden table there, and a few soldiers were sitting there chatting leisurely. Lu Chan walked over curiously. "Excuse me, are you also recruiting soldiers here?" Lu Chan walked up to the wooden table. The soldiers were chatting enthusiastically when they suddenly saw someone coming over. Their conversation was interrupted. They raised their heads and looked at the young man in front of them. His face was pale, and he didn't look very energetic. His right arm was missing, and he was a cripple. They looked at each other and couldn't help but laugh. "Kid, we do have a mission here, and it's quite suitable for you." Lu Chan frowned slightly. "What's a mission?" "It's a suicide mission. A half-dead person like you is just right for it." Lu Chen ignored their mockery and asked, "What's the mission?" "Look, this cripple seems to be very interested. It seems like he's really not afraid of death. Not only did he lose his right arm, but he was also forced to come to the City of Exiles. Kid, you want to have a chance to make a comeback." Lu Chen smiled. "You don't have to worry about making a comeback. Tell me what the mission is." At this moment, the old man in the same room happened to be in the line next door. He saw Lu Chen at a glance and hurriedly ran over. He grabbed Lu Chen's left arm and pulled him aside. "Kid, what are you doing? Don't accept the mission here." Lu Chen asked curiously, "Why? Have you heard of the Suicide Squad?" The old man said, "It's the kind that goes straight to death." Lu Chen frowned. "I've heard of it. The missions here are Suicide Squad missions?" "Yes. Although the City of Exiles is a place to stay, the longer you stay, the more hopeless you become. Some people choose to leave early, while others choose to join the Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad missions have additional military merits as rewards, but everyone knows that no matter how many military merits you have, you'll lose everything if you die. This is the final destination for some people who can't see any hope. Luchan frowned. It turned out that the mission here was really a suicide mission. Brother, the mission over there requires a militia captain. My rank isn't high enough, so I can only do this mission. Then wait a little longer. Some missions can be done by the militia, but there are fewer of them. You just have to slowly accumulate military merits. Luchan shook his head. I'm afraid I can't wait. This is the only path I can take. Brother, thank you. Luchan's original intention was that he had to earn enough points as soon as possible to buy herbs for Little Green. But in the old man's ears, it became a farewell. Looking at Luchan's current appearance, the old man finally let go of his hand, shook his head, and sighed. Ah, it's really the bed of misfortune. Such a good single bed, but only the dead can sleep on it. Boy, good luck. Luchan nodded and walked back to the officer. What's the mission now? The officer smiled contemptuously. Sure enough, this was another one who took things too hard. It's very simple. Sneak into the undead army camp and cause as much damage as you can. Kill and burn. As long as you attract their attention, it'll be fine. If you're lucky enough, there are these people next to you. If they can arrive in time, you might be able to survive. Of course, under normal circumstances, you can already pack up your belongings and bury them in a hidden place. If you have a chance to come back, you might find them. Luchan ignored their nonsense. How many people are going? The atmosphere in the City of Exiles hasn't been very good recently. There are very few people who take things too hard. So, if you sign up, there will only be 3. Luchan nodded. Sign me up. Chapter 474. At night, Luchan and the other 2 men of sacrifice sneaked out of the city. The 3 of them rushed to the designated area and hid near the camp of the undead under the cover of the night. Speaking of the 2 teammates, they did not speak a word along the way. They were the ones who had given up hope and did not bother to talk to each other. According to the requirements, the 3 of them were to ambush in the east, west, and north of the undead camp at midnight. Once they succeeded in creating chaos, they would release smoke bombs, and the human army would launch a sneak attack. When they arrived near the undead camp, the other 2 went to their respective areas to wait for an opportunity. Luchan made himself invisible. Unless the enemy carefully checked this place, it would be difficult for them to find him hiding in the forest. Bored of waiting, Luchan summoned the fur ball and Sprout. Sprout, you're too big. Can you turn into the fur ball? As soon as he said that, Sprout had turned into a miniature version of the Radiant Moon werewolf. With a shake of his body, he completely imitated the appearance of the little fur ball, causing the little fur ball to be dumbfounded. Damn, so cute. Leaning against a tree stump, Luchan looked at the 2 little things in front of him. I'm afraid Chaos and the others are still a little weak. I may have to rely on the 2 of you this time. The 2 little mice stood side by side and listened carefully to their boss's tactical arrangements. Sneak into the undead camp in this form. They won't find you since you're so small. Then listen to my orders. Once I give you an order, you will change back to your original form immediately. You only have 10 minutes to destroy as much as you can. Then run to me. Understand? Squeak. Roar. Well, very good. Try to kill as many undead as possible and earn some military merits for me. But don't fight too much, especially you, Furball. Squeak, squeak, squeak. After being named, the little Furball was very dissatisfied and complained to Luchan. Luchan shook his head with a smile and patted the Furball's head. Speaking of which, Yao Lao had warned Luchan not to indulge the little Furball in the Divine Herbalist Valley. Otherwise, the consequences would be terrible. But now, Luchan would not do it himself, so he could only rely on the little Furball and the little Originator. The lesser Originator could only withstand elemental attacks and Heaven's Wrath attacks. Although there were many experts in the third heaven who could restrain the lesser Originator, the lesser Originator itself was very strong. This time, it was just a puppet, and Luchan could directly gain the lesser Originator's vision. Thus, it was very easy to control and not dangerous. As for the little Furball, it had eaten a lot of things during this period of time and seemed to have become stronger. It could take any attack, but the problem was that it ate everything. Lucian was only worried that it would not eat too many undead due to its terrifying HP, regeneration, and combatability. In short, Lucian was very relieved to send out these two fellows. Looking at the system time, Lucian found that there were still 3 minutes left before the appointed time. So, Lucian asked Furry and Originator to sneak into the undead army camp. At this time, Lucian was hiding in the dark and obtained the vision of the sub-originator. The two mini-fellows dashed toward the camp. Then, they swaggered into the camp. However, as soon as they entered, they were discovered by the guards. Lucian was so shocked that he broke out in a cold sweat. What were these two fellows doing? A hunchbacked undead soldier, who looked like a piece of rotten meat, was patrolling when he saw the two fellows walking together. Huh, why are there mice here? Hee, I haven't eaten fresh meat for a long time. The two little field mice dashed all the way and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Damn, they got away. The soldier left resentfully. Lucian's eyes were full of shock. Are they F***king sneaking in? They are F***king forcing their way in. Well, the little furball usually looked harmless and probably thought that it had seen a piece of fresh meat when it was hungry. Maybe this was how it usually saw things. They want to eat the little furball. Lucian was really anxious for these people. Soon, Lucian suddenly saw many undead soldiers rushing out of the tents toward the open space in front of the camp. 2 men of sacrifice are caught. Ha ha ha. Trash like you want to sneak up on us? Sending only 2 people? Are they here to die? Kill them. Kill them. Let the general destroy their bodies and kill his way back to the first heaven. Lucian was shocked when he heard the undead soldiers. The 2 fellows who came with him failed to sneak in and were caught. When the little fur ball and the sub-originator ran over, there were only 2 corpses on the ground, which were turning into light spots and dissipating. A 3-meter-tall, non-human creature with rotten meat was licking his long knife and laughing wildly. Ha ha! Who said the humans can't kill these cockroaches? If I see one, I'll kill one. If I see a city, I'll slaughter a city. Lucian shook his head slightly. These fellows were really ferocious. When one was wounded in battle, one's body would be damaged. However, there were 2 main ways to destroy the body. One was to inflict terrible damage that far exceeded the upper limit of one's HP to completely destroy the body. The other was to slowly torture the body until it was unable to heal itself. Of course, there were other methods, such as the fire god's fiery saber, the remaining power of the Heaven's Punishment Tower, or Mu Xian's self-destruction. Lucian hadn't figured out many of those methods yet. But why did they have to destroy other people's bodies when they were fighting? The battles in the third heaven were completely different from those in the second heaven. The smell of blood reeked in the air. Soon, the time for the quest was about to come. Lucian stopped thinking about random things. The undead soldiers were cheering because the 2 humans were killed. Now was the best time to take action. All of a sudden, 2 inconspicuous mice behind the undead soldiers suddenly grew in size and turned into 2 behemoths. The sub-originator had imitated the little furball's appearance, and it did the same when it grew up. The 2 huge mice were running around crazily in the camp. Are they battle pets or wild beasts? Whatever. Fight the enemy now. How dare these 2 mice cause trouble in my territory? Courting death. Come out, Ice Bone Dragon. The leader of the encampment summoned a huge bone dragon that was as big as the little fur ball and the little originator. The bone dragon roared at the sky, and a chilly wind blew. Half of the encampment in front of the bone dragon was frozen. Oh no, it's an elemental attack. Lucian frowned. Furball, sub-originator, destroy the camp. Don't fight. At the same time, Lucian activated the signal flare to inform the troops in the distance. The furball and the sub-originator avoided the bone dragon and ran around in the camp on a rampage, breaking the camp into pieces. Their mission was to destroy the camp. All they needed to do was to cause trouble everywhere. There was no need for them to fight the enemy head-on. However, the bone dragon was still chasing after them. It spread its wings and was faster than the fur ball and the sub-originator. When the time was right, the bone dragon swooped down at the sub-originator. The bone dragon seemed to know that the sub-originator was afraid of its elemental attacks. So fast, Lu Chun was so angry that his eyes almost popped out. He could only watch as the ice dragon swooped down at high speed. Right at that critical moment, the furball suddenly jumped over the sub-originator and bit the ice dragon's neck. A mouse had bitten a dragon. The ice dragon flew up and down in pain, but the furball wouldn't let go no matter what. At a low altitude, the furball climbed onto the bone dragon's back with its amazing strength and agility. Squeak, squeak, squeak. A greedy look appeared in the little furball's eyes. It finally got a chance to have a good meal and not get scolded by its boss. Feast. The furball bit the ice dragon. Chapter 475. The little furball was no longer a silly mouse after the feast started. It grabbed the bone dragon's neck and gnawed at its body. The bone dragon had no flesh and blood, but that was not a problem for the little furball, which was never picky about food. The debuffs on the skeletal dragon's body continued to accumulate. In just a moment, it had already reached 4 or 5 stacks. At this time, its HP was dropping at a rate that could only be described as terrifying. A large chunk of the bone dragon's HP bar was gone. The group of undead soldiers looked at this scene in horror. Their ugly faces were filled with fear. Oh my god, what is that monster? What is that attack? Even a spirit general's battle pet can't survive a few bites? The bone dragon is already using its power, but that guy isn't affected at all? Why? I've never seen a bone dragon cry like that. The undead leader was even more furious. My bone dragon, what is that monster? In the distance, the human troops that had received the signal flare were rushing over. It was dark, but they could still vaguely see the bone dragon because of the icy mist in the air. The bone dragon was flying in a weird way up and down as if it had lost control. Is that a bone dragon, a top battle pet of the undead? I think it's of the ice attribute. It said that it's very tough. Huh, strange. Why is it losing control? What's going on? After struggling for a moment, the ice-bone dragon fell straight to the ground and lay there motionless. The little furball wiped its mouth with its paws and was about to continue enjoying the food when it noticed that the originator was not doing well. Don't attack it with spiritual attacks. It can absorb spiritual attacks. Use elemental attacks. Motherf asterisk cur. Where did these 2 old books come from? Cut the crap. Kill one of them first. All the people who were at the 3rd level were experts. Even the weaker ones had mastered 1 or 2 elemental skills after such a long time. For a moment, all kinds of elemental attacks were coming from all directions. The originator wasn't good at dodging, so Lu Chun had to control it with the spirit summoning technique. The little furball saw that the originator was being attacked by the crowd. It looked back at the dying bone dragon, and a trace of reluctance flashed in its eyes. But soon, it abandoned the bone dragon and rushed to the crowd. Who would have thought that this glutton would put aside the delicacies and come to the rescue in time for the sake of the seed originator? Although little furball didn't have immunity, its defense was extremely high. At this moment, it was even more resilient than when it encountered Lu Chun. In addition, it had a terrifying health regeneration effect. The group of people took a lot of effort to deal some damage, but it was still not as fast as little furball's health regeneration. Bloodline Bond. Out of nowhere, little furball used a new skill. A beam of light connected it to the sprite originator, and little furball's HP recovery effect was transferred to the sprite originator. With Hairy Ball joining the battle, the pressure on Xiao Yuan was greatly reduced. With the help of the healing wave, Xiao Yuan was full of energy again. Roar! The little fur ball pounced on the crowd and bit countless people. Through the bloodline bond, a large amount of HP was recovered. Now that the sprite originator had nothing to worry about, it pounced on the crowd and unleashed its skills. Lu Chun saw this battle clearly. Little Fur Ball has an extra skill. Lu Chun was dumbfounded. Maybe it has leveled up or evolved. In any case, with Little Fur Ball's skill, the safety of the two fellows was more assured. Little Furball is quite sneaky. It deliberately avoided the powerful enemies and kept killing the small fries. Luchin couldn't help but sigh. Speaking of which, it would be strange if Little Furball was not smart. That guy had been eating and drinking in the herb garden for hundreds of years. Its ability to avoid people was absolutely outstanding. Luchan was still paying attention to the battlefield, in case the enemy's experts surrounded the two fellows. Suddenly, Luchan, who had been invisible, seemed to notice something wrong. Military merit +1. Military merit +1. Military merit +1. Numbers were rapidly popping up above his head. Since he was invisible, the number kept popping up on a piece of wood in front of him. Damn, these military merit points. The two fellows had killed a lot of undead militia soldiers. Although it was only increasing little by little, there were so many of them that the military merit points above Luchan's head kept increasing. Damn, I can earn military merit points like this? After gaining about 200 or 300 military merit points, Luchan saw a blurry shadow in the distance, which was moving quickly toward the undead army camp. More and more experts from the undead army were dispatched. After all, Luchan couldn't fight by himself. For the safety of the two fellows, Luchan hurriedly ordered them to retreat. After receiving the news, the two fellows retreated while fighting. Not long after, the human army was not far away. After receiving the news, the undead leader quickly ordered, "Damn it, don't chase them. The human army is attacking. Get into formation immediately." The undead leader was still unwilling to give up. Looking at the two fleeing rats, he gnashed his teeth in anger. "Damn it, if I find out who is behind this, I will make him suffer. Get into formation quickly. Are you all deaf? Hurry up." Unfortunately, the undead army had been messed up by Furry and the Originator, so it was still too late to assemble quickly. Before the undead army was fully assembled, the human army had already arrived. The human army was not limited to those from the City of Exiles. There were more than 10,000 of them. At this time, these soldiers saw the messy, undead army camp and the scattered undead army, and they were stunned. What's going on? Did someone launch a sneak attack here? Could it be a suicide squad? That's impossible. How many suicide squads did they send to turn the undead army upside down? At least 1,000 people. Is the City of Exiles so powerful now? A suicide squad of 1,000 people? The people from the City of Exiles were dumbfounded. A suicide squad of 1,000 people? How come I didn't know? Someone from the undead army shouted angrily. "Damn humans, you can't defeat us in a frontal attack, so you use such despicable means to launch a sneak attack. Speak. Who is that person?" A group of humans frowned and fell into deep thought. Who is that person? Aren't there 1,000 suicide squads? Are you asking about the one who took the lead? You're asking me? I'm the one who wants to ask you. While the humans and the undead army were engaged in a fierce battle, Lu Chun had run far away with Furry and the Originator. He didn't want to get involved in such a chaotic battle. Smoke was rising from the battlefield behind him. Lu Chun walked on the road to the City of Exiles leisurely, with two mice standing on his shoulders. Furry seemed to be very curious about the Originator's new appearance. It kept petting the Originator, and the Originator hit it impatiently. After all, Luchin's pets liked to fight when they had nothing to do. Luchin had already gotten used to it. Luchin was in a good mood after completing the quest and earning a lot of military credits. You two did a good job. 273 points of military credits. I'm rich. With so many points, I should be able to buy some materials. Right, I got 10 military credits for this quest. Mosquitoes are still meat. I'll go back and turn in the quest. Chapter 476. At night, the mission officer was not around, so Lu Chun could only go back to the dormitory to rest. When he returned to the dormitory, Lu Chun found that he was the only one in the room. The others might have gone on missions. Speaking of which, were those guys at the level of militia captain or above? Lu Chun thought about it. This was not surprising. Normally, what qualifications did a militia have to be wanted? Those who could run to the city of exiles were more or less capable. Lu Chan was now a militia and could only exchange for resources once a week. There was still more than 8 hours before the exchange time, so he rested for the time being. Early the next morning, Lu Chan got up to hand the mission and happened to see a large group of people entering the city. These people were all wearing exile masks, so it was impossible to tell who was who. They did not seem to be in good condition. Their HP was almost at a critical state, and their bodies were also damaged. The battle last night had lasted until now, which showed how tragic it was. There were many onlookers around, and at this time, many people were discussing. So many people came back from fighting the undead. It's not easy. Well, the undead are usually killed. After they are caught, they're directly tortured to death and sent back to the first level to be reincarnated. I heard that the undead army was ambushed by another army yesterday. When we went there, it was a mess. Really? Then they really made a big profit. Lu Chan frowned slightly. It seemed that they were talking about him. How did it become an army after spreading it around? Lu Chan did not care so much and walked toward the mission officer. The same few people were sitting there chatting leisurely, but when they saw Lu Chan, they were stunned. Lu Chan was missing an arm, so it was easy to recognize him even if he was wearing a mask. You are still alive? No way, the other two are dead. How can a cripple like you survive? Lu Chan sneered. I am also very surprised, but I survived. The few people were speechless by Lu Chan's words. One of them immediately thought of something. Don't be so smug. Did you happen to encounter the troops of other races attacking the undead camp? I'm warning you, if you don't contribute anything, don't even think about completing the mission. Lu Chan smiled faintly. My mission has been completed. With that said, Lu Chan pushed the Suicide Squad mission in front of them. It showed a completed status. The mission officers were once again at a loss for words as they stared at the one-armed man in shock. This guy had really completed his mission. You're just a militia. How could you possibly complete such a mission? You took advantage of the chaos to complete the mission, didn't you? You sneaked in to complete the mission while they were ambushed. That must be it. Otherwise, how could a crippled militia like you do it? These guys came up with some seemingly reasonable explanations in their minds. Otherwise, all of this would overturn their understanding of the world. Lu Chan was too lazy to talk nonsense with these small fries. He didn't know where these officers and soldiers of the City of Exiles got their sense of superiority from, but they looked down on him from the bottom of their hearts. Perhaps to be more precise, it wasn't that the officers and soldiers looked down on him, but that the chain of discrimination between military ranks was at work. They were all regular troops stationed in Mo City. Back then, Lu Chan had clearly felt that the treatment of regular troops and militia was several grades lower. Lu Chan couldn't help but sneer. Humans had almost been wiped out, but they still cared about these false titles. It was a miracle that such humans could survive until now. Military rank. Was it really that important? Lu Chan narrowed his eyes slightly. At this moment, Lu Chan suddenly felt a sense of boredom. He was tired of military ranks. Do I really want to be promoted? Then stand at the top of the false titles and look down on everyone? It seemed a little boring. Faced with the questioning of the mission officers, Lu Chan was too lazy to answer. He said coldly, how I completed the mission has nothing to do with you. Your duty is to give our army merit points. Although these people were unwilling and jealous, they still had to give their military merit points. One of them stared at Lu Chan and pushed a wooden token to Lu Chan. What's the use of military merit points for someone who's about to die? Military merit token. Medium after use. 10 military merit points will be awarded. Lu Chan used the token directly. His military merit points had increased to 283. On the military rank interface, he could now participate in a military rank test. However, in view of the feelings he had just felt, Lu Chan didn't want to be promoted. As long as he could exchange for medicinal herbs, it didn't matter what military rank he had. As for the mission, it was pretty good to do this kind of easy suicide mission. Before he left, Lu Chan seemed to have thought of something. He turned around and looked at the mission officers. Hey, do you guys still have a mission here? Like the kind I do? The 3 mission officers were petrified. The reason why they were so free here was because they specialized in releasing suicide missions. This guy had luckily completed it in one go, but he was still not satisfied. He wanted more. Are you crazy? You guys are too dramatic. Just answer my question. Luchin said coldly. You? Fine, you want to die, right? Don't worry. We'll inform you as soon as we have a mission here. It seemed that there were no similar missions now. Lu Chun turned around and left. Lu Chen's quartermaster was already open. He found a quiet little pavilion and began to exchange the medicinal ingredients written down by Lu Yi. Dragon tendon grass, 1 military merit point for 2 portions. Little Green wants 10 portions. Damn, that's 5 military merit points. Phoenix tail, flame lotus, 2 military merit points for 1 stock? Damn, that's so expensive. Damn, I want 3 portions. My heart hurts. It seemed that almost 300 military merit points weren't enough for him to exchange. Lu Chun followed the order of the prescription. He first collected all the medicinal ingredients for a certain pill and then exchanged them. After handing the medicinal ingredients to Lu Yi, Lu Chun thought of Little Furball. He hadn't seen this fellow's status in a long time. He didn't even know that it gained a new skill. It has a new skill, Bloodline Bond. It can share its health recovery with its teammates. Moreover, its attributes are twice as high as before. This fellow improved so quickly. Lu Chun immediately felt the terror of Little Furball. Thinking back, he let Little Furball and the others kill monsters alone in the heart-tempering courtyard. Could it have grown at that time? When he checked the beast pen, Lu Chun found that Little Furball was still sleeping. This fellow seems to like sleeping a lot recently. Lu Chun shook his head. He picked up Little Furball and gently stroked it. When he stroked it, Lu Chun felt that Little Furball's fur wasn't as smooth as before. Why is there a scratch here? Lu Chun carefully pried open the hair on the back of the Little Furball and found 2 scabs inside. Is it injured? Lu Chun hurriedly checked Little Furball's status. At this time, Little Furball's status panel had new status. Transformation, sleepy, in urgent need of large amounts of food. Lu Chun's eyes widened and his face was full of astonishment. The Little Furball was going to transform. Chapter 477. Little Furball was about to transform. It needed food. Currently, it only needed 2 kinds of food, pills, and other creatures. Lu Chun didn't even have enough pills for himself. Eliminating this option, there was only one other option left. No, I don't know when there will be missions over there. Lu Chun was a little anxious. The description mentioned a lot of food. With Little Furball's appetite, he didn't know how much a lot was. There seems to be a free mission area in the mission distribution area. Let's go take a look. Lu Chun hurriedly got up and rushed to the free mission area. Strictly speaking, the so-called free mission couldn't be considered a mission. Some people who were eager to earn military merits faster could accept recurring missions here. The mission requirements were high, but the rewards were low. For example, killing 100 militia-level enemies would only reward 5 military merits. Although the rewards were low, killing militia-level enemies would give military merits. These missions were a kind of benefit that rewarded more military merits. It was important to note that these missions didn't stack with other missions. Targets killed in other missions weren't counted in the recurring missions. Lu Chun only glanced at the missions and accepted all 5 recurring missions in one go. 100 militia-level enemies, 50 squadron-level enemies, 30 squadron-level enemies, 20 brigade-level enemies, and 10 corporal-level enemies. The additional reward was 5 military merits. After accepting the missions, Lu Chun needed to be teleported from a special teleportation point. He would be randomly teleported to a war zone in the 10,000 tribe battlefield and automatically join an unknown battle. Okay, Little Furball, wake up and get ready to eat. Lu Chun woke Little Furball up and followed 30 to 40 people into the teleportation point. The familiar feeling of dizziness was fleeting. When he opened his eyes again, Lu Chun was already in a military camp. There were dozens of similar teleportation portals around, and humans were teleported in from time to time. The people who came were all human soldiers in armor. They were a little confused when they were teleported out. Many people were familiarizing themselves with the environment. There were also a large number of people who had already figured out the situation and were constantly rushing to the front of the battlefield. Quick, quick, quick! Kill them for me. We don't have much of a base left. We can't lose this place. A person with a military rank shouted. Newcomers, don't just stand there. Since you've chosen to join the battle, don't just stand there. Charge! That person pushed a few newcomers and happened to walk in front of Lu Chun. He glanced at Lu Chun and said, You're from a city of exiles? How could you be a cripple? Brat, I don't care where you're from. I don't care what you've done in the past. Now is the time for you to atone for your sins. Lu Chun glanced at the man. Without further explanation, he walked towards the battlefield. After leaving the barracks, Lu Chun saw the battle in front of him. There were people everywhere, and they were from all races. A leopard-faced man pounced on a human male. Midway, his body suddenly expanded several times and pushed the human to the ground. In the distance, a black-robed wizard with a white skull could vaguely be seen. He was a necromancer. He shot a light beam of wisdom at an orc grandmaster of combat. In the distance, a huge lion roared and fought with a western fire dragon. It looked like a contest between two beast tamers. In the sky, there were flying puppets madly shooting hidden weapons. However, their abdomens were directly pierced by a sword aura, revealing a pile of parts. Archers, beast tamers, and archers suddenly shot arrows from somewhere and pierced through someone's armor. Grenades fell from the sky. On the hillside, a dwarf musketeer held a cigar in his mouth and aimed at someone's head, preparing to blow it off. The talisman formation masters made the most noise. Dao talismans flew everywhere, and the array was magnificent. This was a chaotic battle between hundreds of thousands of super experts. Their goal was to annihilate as many other races as possible. Here, there were 9 major professions and dozens of branches. All the major races used all their skills and threw themselves into this endless battle. Even Lu Chun was shocked when he saw such a scene for the first time. He had seen battles between tens of thousands of people and even world wars with hundreds of millions of people. However, the players at that time were too weak and could not fully utilize the advantages of their professions. However, it was different at level 3. Even if they were just militia, they had the ability to defeat a level 2 domain boss. After going through the baptism of 2 domains, those who could reach here were not really weak. Moreover, those who dared to come here were all very confident in themselves. Everyone was here to kill, and no one was here to be killed. After a short moment of shock, Lu Chun could not help but smile. Very good. This was the place he was looking for. After leaving the human base, there were already many people from other races coming over. 3 strange-looking creatures that were neither human nor ghost had already charged over. Here comes a cripple. Haha, I can kill another one. According to the translation software, the other party's language was Cthulhu race. It was unknown what kind of creature they were. The target they chose was the only human in this group who had one arm burned. Ugly thing, go to hell. Lu Chun was speechless. In their eyes, he was actually an ugly thing. Bro, do you think that your wart-shaped face is very handsome? He really could not understand the thoughts of aliens. Lu Chun did not want to talk nonsense with them and directly threw a furry little mouse at them. Little fur ball, let's eat. I hope you don't mind. The 3 Cthulhu players were also shocked by Lu Chun's strange move. Why did he throw a little mouse at this time? He really could not understand the thoughts of aliens. However, in the process of flying, the little furball's body directly enlarged. When the boss said, let's eat, the little fur ball was completely awake. Yes, it was very hungry, very hungry. Damn, this thing suddenly became so big. It's a battle pet. Don't be afraid. It shouldn't be a powerful battle pet. Lu Chun shook his head. He met this kind of people again. The last person who looked down on the little fur ball seemed to be the Icebone Dragon. He wondered if it was still alive. Roar. The little fur ball roared and directly rushed toward the 3 people, biting one of their arms in an instant. Minus 740,000. Debuff. Physical damage, 1 stack. Physical attributes reduced by 7%, mobility reduced by 7%. Debuff. Physical vulnerability, 1 stack. When receiving physical attacks, receive an additional 7% damage. Debuff. Serious injury and bleeding, 1 stack. Lose 1% of maximum health every second. Last for 7 seconds. With another bite, all the debuffs were stacked again. Other battle pets would just take a bite, but the little fur ball was different. It stared at being bitten. To be precise, it was gnawing on the opponent's flesh. Coupled with its horrifying damage and undefeatable debuffs, anyone who had seen the little fur ball in battle would be shocked by this guy's crazy attack style. That was a fear that was above the game. With 2 bites, the little fur ball tore off one of the monster's tentacles and roared into the sky. Roar! The heaven and earth shook. Even the battle pets who were fighting fiercely could not help but look over. It was as if a horrifying creature was slowly awakening. Chapter 478. Originator Taotai Chaos. Let's go together. Lu Chun summoned the 4 battle pets at once. After all, they wouldn't be in any danger after the bloodline bond was established. 9-wing. Lu Chun called out, and a 9-winged heavenly dragon roared out. As soon as the 9-winged dragon appeared, many people were forced to land on their mounts. Lu Chun jumped on the 9-winged dragon and looked down at the battlefield. The warriors in the distance couldn't help but look at the man on the dragon's head. Broken arm, masked face standing on the dragon's head and looking down at the people. It's a human being. That guy. What's his rank? A titled marshal? Why would a titled marshal be here? He hasn't taken any action yet. I can't tell how strong he is, but he doesn't seem to be easy to deal with. Damn it. How can there be such a horrifying guy? His 4 pets are too horrifying, especially those 2 rats. One of them is immune to all attacks, and the other. Oh my god, what kind of attack is that? It's eating people. Those who were licking the blood on their blades were also frightened by the bloody way the fur ball attacked. Under the lead of the little fur ball, the 4 battle pets charged into the enemy's formation and started a crazy massacre. The fur ball's recovery rate had exceeded the upper limit, and the originator was absorbing more and more spiritual energy. Taotai and Chaos were cooperating with each other. One of them was responsible for group attacks, and the other was responsible for burning mana. The 4 pets had formed a relatively complete team. Tank, healer, AoE, DPS, and support. The division of labor wasn't clear, but there were people in every position. The AoE attack is not good enough. The remote position is vacant. Lu Chun analyzed and decided to add another member to the team. Azure Dragon, Black Flame Dragon Emperor, it's you too. I didn't want to let you out so early, but you're already young. You can get used to it. An Azure Dragon and a Black Dragon roared out from Lu Chun's left hand at the same time. Their figures were not comparable to the 9-winged celestial dragons, but they were still youths after all. Lu Chun did not want to let them participate in the battle so early, but he saw that Fur Ball and the others were fighting well. They were only lacking in long range and area of effect attacks, so he let these 2 little fellows move around. Little Green and Little Black had also been sullen for too long. These 2 fellows were definitely the most combative too. Now that they had the chance to fight, they were already itching to give it a try. Chaos, Taotai. What kind of joke was this? Who did they think they were? They were always in the limelight with their master. They weren't even considered ultimate vicious beasts or divine beasts, and these 2 were the true kings of divine beasts. It wasn't easy for him to come out, so he naturally had to perform well. Roar. The 2 dragons roared furiously, as if venting the dissatisfaction in their hearts. Flames and black flames spewed from their mouths, burning the battlefield mercilessly. Lu Chun didn't know whether to be angry or amused at the same time. Were these little guys all rebellious now that they were in their youth? Her temper was so bad. Hey, you two, don't fight randomly, cooperate. You guys follow Little Furball and the rest. They didn't have to listen to others, but they still had to listen to their boss. If their boss was unhappy and locked them back, that would be terrible. The 2 dragons obediently caught up with Little Furball and the rest. They followed behind and set fire, cooperating with the small team in battle. Lu Chen nodded in satisfaction. As expected of divine beasts, their ability to understand was still quite good. Military merit +1. Kill the militia. Mission completion progress. 13/100. Military merit +3. Kill the militia. Mission completion progress. 16/100. Military merit +3. Kill the militia captain. Mission completion progress. 2/50. Military merit +3. Kill the militia captain. Mission completion progress. 4/50. Standing on the head of the nine-winged sky dragon, Lu Chen's missions kept refreshing. The militia mission had the highest requirements and refreshed the fastest, followed by the militia captain mission. With the 6 war pets attacking together, even the captain-level people would find it difficult to resist. Many of the militia directly became cannon fodder. Most importantly, Little Furball was eating like crazy. More than 10 minutes later, the militia mission had been completed. This mission could be submitted on the spot. After submitting it, one only needed to choose to continue accepting it to refresh. This made things much more convenient for Lu Chen. You have submitted the militia mission. You have received 5 military merit points. Would you like to accept the new mission? Yes, Lu Chen said without hesitation. Little guys, refresh the mission. The moment Lu Chen appeared, he became the focus of the battlefield. Riding the nine-winged sky dragon, he not only suppressed all the mounts present, but he also didn't even need to do anything. He only relied on his 6 war pets to slaughter a large number of players in less than 20 minutes. The war pets under him were all divine beasts at the very least. 2 ordinary divine beasts, 2 ultimate divine beasts, and 2 large rats of unknown origin. Especially those 2 large rats. One was immune to physical and spiritual attacks, and only 8 elemental attacks. That fellow also absorbed spiritual attacks, and its spiritual attacks were now very terrifying. The other had high HP and high defense, and its attacks were insane. At the same time, it also provided the entire Divine Beast squad with HP regeneration. He had ranged attackers, melee attackers, AoE attackers, and DPS attackers. Damn it, where did that guy get all his war pets? He actually put together a Divine Beast squad that can both attack and defend? That's outrageous. Raising 4 Divine Beasts? How can that guy afford it? He got both the Azure Dragon and the Black Flame Dragon Emperor? This is the first time I've seen someone with 2 Divine Dragons. Divine Beasts aren't the most powerful in his place. I don't know where those 2 large rats came from. They're too strong. That guy's mask seems to be from the City of Exiles. Is he from the City of Exiles? This place was called the Battlefield of 10,000 Races. It wasn't a real battlefield of 10,000 races, but there was an advantage to this place. Lu Chen had killed many people, but because there were too many races there, they couldn't form a unified force to fight against him. Even a single race, such as the human race, would almost always act alone, not to mention so many races. No one would join forces to deal with him. The 6 war pets were enough. You have submitted a militia mission. You have received 5 military merit points. Would you like to accept a new mission? Yes. You have submitted a militia captain mission. You have received 5 military merit points. Would you like to accept a new mission? Yes. Don't ask. Just keep doing it. Lu Chen had lost count of how many times he had submitted a new mission. His military merit points were increasing rapidly. An hour later, Lu Chen noticed that his war pets seemed to be tired. Also, the war pets had learned their lesson and ran away as soon as they saw his Divine Beast squad. As a result, he was much slower in completing missions. What? Is Furball taking a nap? Furball was the absolute core of the Divine Beast squad. It was fine that the War Pet squad was leeching off others, but the War Pet squad and the Originator couldn't be leeched off. I have more than 1,300 military merit points. Furball has eaten a lot. Well, that's enough. Come back. Lu Chen told the 9-wing to land, and then put the 9-wing away. He waited for Furball and the War Pet squad to finish off the undead skeletons that had just joined the battlefield. Then, he called back the 6 War Pets. All of a sudden, the battle on the battlefield came to a weird stop. In the distance, Someone stared at the one-armed man nervously. They were finally relieved when he returned to the human camp. That lunatic is finally gone. Damn it. Don't let me run into him again. Chapter 479. After returning to the city of exiles, Lu Chun exchanged for the herbs and gave them to Lu Yi. Then, he waited until nightfall to take the first batch of pills. Boss, do you feel better? Lu Yi looked at Lu Chun nervously. Yes, the deterioration of the injury seems to have slowed down a lot. That's great. Boss, the herbs you gave me are enough to refine for 3 days, but it will take some time. I will refine some more solid pills tomorrow. Lu Chun smiled. Don't worry. I don't have to do anything now. You should rest well. In the evening, Lu Chun returned to the dormitory. Seeing that Lu Chun had returned, the old man in the bed next to him got up and ran to Lu Chun's side. He whispered excitedly, "Hey kid, you didn't die." He had seen Lu Chun accept the suicide mission with his own eyes. At that time, he had even tried to dissuade Lu Chun from doing so. Lu Chun looked helpless. He had just returned and was already being asked such a question. It was as if he should have died. Well, seeing that the uncle didn't have any bad intentions, Lu Chun didn't want to argue with him. My luck is good. You didn't die either. Congratulations to you. Good luck. Your luck is against the heavens. The old man simply sat beside Lu Chun's bed. However, your luck is really good. Coincidentally, there were other troops that attacked the undead camp. Not bad, not bad. It wasn't easy for you to survive. Kid, don't take things too hard in the future. Those suicide missions are not to be taken casually. Although life is hopeless, it has to go on. The old man acted as if he had been there before and brought over a bowl of chicken soup. Lu Chun smiled and shook his head. Brother, rest early. What time is it? Why are you sleeping? You're sick all day. How can you not have any energy? The old man was full of energy. Hey, let me tell you, something big happened in the city of exiles. Huh? What happened? Lu Chun asked curiously. Someone has completed 13 missions in a row in the trial battlefield, breaking Azura's record. Lu Chun thought about it for a moment. The person who continuously completed quests was most likely himself. But who was Shura, and what the hell was a record? Brother, who is Azura? Shura is the strongest person in the city of exiles. Of course, Azura isn't his real name. It's his nickname in the city of exiles. He's the only marshal we've had recently. I reckon that he will soon be called Marshal. When that time comes, he will be able to leave the city of exiles openly. At this point, the old man's eyes were filled with yearning. That guy is the god of the city of exiles. He's our idol. Wasn't it their goal to leave the city of exiles in a dignified manner? However, someone was about to do it. Someone was telling them that the impossible could be achieved. In this hopeless place, perhaps the Azura was their only hope. And then, let me tell you, Azura once set a record of completing 12 missions in an hour in the trial field. At that time, it was already shocking. But today, when we left the city to fight, someone broke the record. Calculating the time, I reckon that at that time, before you even had time to rush back to the city of exiles, a super newbie appeared. Azura himself has released the news that he will break the record again. My God, completing more than 10 missions in an hour. That's more than 1,000 military merit points. It turned out that someone was dissatisfied with Lu Chun's results, but Lu Chun wasn't interested in it at all. He just wanted to let Furball have a good meal and train the Divine Bee Squad. He didn't want to break anyone's record. Now, everyone is looking for the person who broke Azura's record. I really want to see if he's the second Azura. Lu Chun said, bored. He won't. Why? How do you know? You're not him. Lu Chun shook his head. I guessed. The next day, Lu Chun wanted to go to the trial field, but who would have thought that there would be a sea of people there early in the morning? From the surrounding onlookers, Lu Chun learned that Azura was going to challenge the trial field today. Lu Chun frowned slightly. Sure enough, in the land of exiles, there was no other entertainment besides fighting. There were actually so many people watching. There were too many people, so Lu Chun didn't line up. He turned around and went to the mission officer. Seeing the one-armed young man walk over, the three mission officers looked at each other and smiled. "You're here." Lu Chun walked up to the three of them. "Do you have a mission?" "Yes, why wouldn't we?" One of them said sarcastically. "We can't wait for you to die outside." "Of course, we'll do our best to help you find missions." Lu Chun frowned slightly. These people were getting more and more annoying. Fortunately, the three of them were efficient and quickly pushed the mission to Lu Chun. This was a spy mission. A team from the Heavenly Demon Group was heading to a nearby valley. Their purpose was unknown. Lu Chun needed to follow their tracks and spy for information. The mission was originally a 5-man team mission. The reward was 25 military merit points, which was considered very generous for a mission. However, Lu Chun realized that he was the only one who had accepted the mission. At this moment, an old man walked over to Lu Chun. He looked up at Lu Chun and then at the three mission officers. "Didn't you say that there was no mission?" The old man questioned. "How'd he get it?" "The mission just came." "Is there a problem?" "There's still people rushing to die." "What a joke. You should thank us for letting your old bones live for a few more days." The old man seemed to be angry, but didn't dare to say anything. He could only settle for the next best thing. "Does the mission still need people?" "No." Lu Chun frowned slightly. There were still 4 spots for this mission, but they didn't give anyone else the mission. It was obvious that they wanted Lu Chun to go alone. As for the reason, it was self-evident. They wanted to use their authority to kill him as soon as possible. Lu Chun's eyes flashed with killing intent. If they wanted to kill him, he might have spared their lives if they came to him openly. However, if they used such despicable tricks, Lu Chun had already decided to kill them. "Young man, can you transfer the mission to me?" The old man turned to Lu Chun. "You're still young. Although you've lost an arm, you can exchange it for a limb regeneration pill in the future. If you really think there's no hope, I'll give you all my military merit points. It's useless to keep them anyway." Lu Chun was interrupted by the old man and temporarily suppressed his killing intent. This old man was really rare. He was actually willing to give his military merit points to a stranger. "Hey, old man, if you don't want your military merit points, you can give them to us. I promise you that the next mission will send you to your death first." The mission officer was envious. "You're giving your military merit points to him? Isn't it a waste in the end? You're really old and muddle-headed. Just give it to us." "Give it to you? Are you worthy?" The old man finally had some confidence for once. Lu Chun had a good impression of this generous old man. He said politely, "Old man, you should keep the military merit points for yourself." The old man was slightly surprised. If other people heard that someone was giving away military merit points for free, they would have been impatient. This was the most important resource in the third heaven. But this kid actually rejected it. The old man looked at Lu Chun again. This young man seemed different from the others. After thinking for a while, he pulled Lu Chun to a place where there was no one. "Young man, you're different from the others." Lu Chun blinked. What did he mean? Did the old man see something? Azura could have left this place long ago. Do you know why he hasn't been promoted to a titled marshal? Lu Chun heaved a sigh of relief, but the old man's words piqued his curiosity. Chapter 480. He's looking for this. After the old man finished speaking, he handed Lu Chun an item. Incomplete treasure map, 7/8. Lu Chun furrowed his brows. "Elder, what's this?" "Literally." The old man smiled and sat beside Lu Chun. The old man sighed and said slowly, "I've been in the city of exiles for a long time. When I first arrived, I was in high spirits and thought that with my abilities, I could quickly become a titled marshal. Later on, I realized that it was too difficult to leave this place. The enemies outside are not easy to deal with. Resources are scarce here, and the third heaven is not like the previous 2 heavens. Although everyone says that there are opportunities everywhere, humans are too lowly and have no way to go to a wider place. Day after day, year after year, I have already accepted reality. Who doesn't have a family backing them up? My backing is too small. It can't support me to reach that step. Sigh. In the end, I still can't protect my world." Lu Chun glanced at the old man. If he had really stayed here for a few years, it meant that he was very strong. It wasn't easy to survive countless battles. The old man suddenly changed his tone. However, it's not like I didn't gain anything all these years. I got this. The old man looked at the treasure map in Lu Chen's hands. Azura's strength is far beyond ours. He has a powerful backing. The old man looked at Lu Chen. He came to the City of Exiles not because he was wanted, but because of this treasure map. Lu Chen furrowed his brows and listened to the old man continue. As you can see, this treasure map is only 7/8 complete. However, that part is not important. Look at the map below. With these maps in my hands, you can already determine the location. Lu Chen had to admit that the old man had the ability to exploit bugs. Or rather, the old man's luck was even better. The fragments of the treasure map that he had obtained were just enough to piece together the location of the treasure. Lu Chen raised his head. So, the remaining 1/8 is in Azura's hands? The old man nodded. Yes, it's in his hands. I saw him when he came to the City of Exiles. Lu Chen narrowed his eyes slightly. The reason why you feel hopeless is not because you can't leave the City of Exiles, but because you are afraid of Shura. The old man took a deep breath and finally nodded. I've endured for so long, and my military merit points are almost there. It's just that I can't pass the test. Azura's strength is unfathomable, and he's not someone I can deal with. He's already locked onto the last few people, and I can't escape in the end. Lu Chen asked curiously, Since you have a treasure, why don't you look for it yourself? The old man smiled. Go out and look for it yourself? Young man, have you forgotten where is outside? Outside is the myriad race battlefield. If we are alone, only death awaits us. Young man, I've met countless people. I can see that you're a man of character. Did you want to mess with those mission officers? Lu Chen looked at the old man in surprise. You can tell? The old man smiled. It's normal. I wanted to kill those 3 for a long time. They're so disgusting. However, young man, don't let your emotions affect your decisions. Since you've come to the City of Exiles, it means that you have nowhere else to go. If you offend the City of Exiles at this time, you'll really be cornered. Shura will find me soon. I don't have many days left to live. Originally, I wanted to find a suicide mission and die outside, but Shura has already bribed the mission officers. The few targets that he has locked onto, none of them will receive the mission. I'll give you this map. I still have more than 40,000 military merit points. I see that your physical body is seriously injured, so use it to exchange for some high-grade pills. But remember, don't attract attention. Otherwise, Azura will very likely find you. The treasure map is a disaster, not a blessing, so I don't dare ask you for anything. But if, and I'm saying if, you have the chance to leave this place and meet people from my planet in the future, please help them. I'm ashamed to face them. Young man, transfer the suicide mission to me. I'm already tired. You still have a chance. There's no need to rush to ruin your path to Jiutian. Lu Chen looked at the treasure map in his hand. The treasure map couldn't be fake. After all, the system had verified it. Old man, I'll take the treasure map. As for the military merit points, you can keep them. As for the mission, I'm afraid I can't give it to you. I need to earn military merit points. Earn military merit points through the suicide mission? Young man, don't tease me. There's no point in keeping my military merit points. Azura won't go easy on me. Lu Chen smiled. If he comes looking for you, tell him that the map is in my hands. What? You want to give the map to Azura directly? Lu Chen shook his head. Give it to him? How is that possible? I just feel that although 7/8 of the map is still acceptable, it's still uncomfortable to look at. This treasure map can't be given to a worthless corner. The one in his hands might contain other important information. However, old man, if it's possible, please wait a few more days. My body isn't very good right now. If I act rashly, I'm afraid I'll need to rest for a long time. It's a bit boring here. The old man's eyes widened. He didn't know whether to believe Lu Chen's words or not. At this moment, someone passed by. The old man stood up vigilantly. The person was just passing by, but the old man seemed very nervous, like a bird startled by the twang of a bough. Lu Chan pressed the old man's arm with his left hand, calming him down. Old man, don't worry. I'll find something for Azura to do. He won't have time to look for you for at least half a month. This Lu Chan stood up. Old man, thank you for the map. I won't let you die. I'm afraid you'll have to protect the people in your hometown. With that, Lu Chan sent him a friend request. The old man hesitated. Add me as a friend this. I'm afraid it'll attract Azura's attention. Lu Chan smiled. It doesn't matter. There are too many people paying attention to me. A few more won't matter. The old man thought for a while and accepted the friend request. Because it wasn't set, Lu Chan saw the old man's ID, coward. Young man, did you hide your ID? Lu Chan thought for a while. The old man was willing to give him a treasure map and didn't hide his ID. It didn't seem right for him to not show anything. He directly showed the 4 golden IDs that were wanted by the entire level 3 server. Solipsistic, golden ID. Lu Chan kept the ID. It's just a special effect. It's not that interesting. The old man almost vomited blood. Although it was just a special effect, everyone in the world had white IDs. He was the only one with a golden ID. This made the nature of the situation completely different. This person was definitely not ordinary. Perhaps his luck had really changed. He had found the right person. Young man, can I ask you one more question? Who exactly are you want to buy? Lu Chen's expression couldn't be seen clearly under the mask. He could only hear his somewhat helpless voice. Sai, this is really too tragic. I can only tell you, don't tell anyone that you're my friend. Otherwise, you'll be beaten up badly. Chapter 481. Cowherd was quite cautious. The two of them had been together for a long time. It was inevitable that people would become suspicious, which would be detrimental to the little guy. After saying goodbye to Lu Chan in a hurry, Cowherd quickly disappeared into the crowd. Lu Chan watched Cowherd leave. The old man seemed to have stayed in the City of Exiles for too long and didn't know about the solipsistic. He was only surprised by Lu Chen's golden ID. That was good. It would save him a lot of trouble. He didn't expect that there would be a treasure map in the land of exiles. It was indeed a place where good and bad people mingled. The land of exiles was not as simple as he had imagined. Lu Chan put away the treasure map and stood up. Azura, I didn't expect that we would meet again. If I don't have time, I'll find something for you to do first. Cheers burst out around the trial battlefield. Wow, 14 quests. Azura completed 14 quests in an hour. No wonder he's the best expert in the City of Exiles. It's too easy for him to set a record. Azura hasn't done any quests for a long time. He rewrote the record as soon as he returned. That's what a strong expert is like. Azura doesn't bother with such quests anymore. Azura isn't someone who can be easily shaken. The crowd moved around man. Needless to say, the man in the middle was the best expert in the land of exiles. As soon as the Shura left, the trial battlefield suddenly became empty. A stealthy unit quickly accepted the mission and entered the trial battlefield. Lu Chan was already familiar with the battlefield since it was his second time there. He summoned the 9 wings and charged to the center of the battlefield. Kids, time to get to work. Lu Chan waved his hand, and 6 battle pets descended from the sky. Furball, Originator, Tao-Tai, Chaos, Azure Dragon, and Black Flame Dragon Emperor. The 6 legendary pets lunged at the battlefield with the densest crowd. Use a little more strength today, Lu Chan instructed and watched the show on 9 Wings' body. After the previous day's practice, the 6 pets had become quite familiar with each other. Driven by hunger, the little furball pounced on a huge elephant and took a bite. The 2 dragons spewed out 2 types of flames and attacked at the same time. The 3 beasts, Xiao Yuan, Tao Tai, and Hun Dun, followed closely behind and attacked ferociously. The giant elephant seemed to be some kind of divine beast. It had high HP and high defense, but it was no match for 6 fellows whose bloodlines were higher than its own. In an instant, it was showing signs of defeat. Lu Chan frowned slightly. Hey, I'm here to complete a quest. You should have picked the easier ones to kill. Why did you pick the most difficult battle pet to kill? Lu Chen couldn't do anything about it. Perhaps Little Furball was too hungry and saw that the guy had a lot of meat, so it attacked first. Forget it. It shouldn't be hard to complete a dozen quests anyway. I can't be bothered with them. On the battlefield, the 6 battle pets that had appeared out of nowhere swept across the area as easily as crushing dry weeds and smashing rotten wood. The others had to make way for those terrifying battle pets. That guy has so many battle pets. Every single one of them was this powerful. My mount won't fly. What's the meaning of this? Damn it. Did you see that rat? I don't think even the rock golem can survive its attacks. One-armed, riding a 9-winged dragon as his mount, and summoning 6 divine beasts. Is that guy the Grim Reaper from yesterday? Damn it. It's really him. That guy wouldn't have survived more than a minute on a real battlefield. There's no way we can set up a defense line here. Let's avoid him first. Lu Chen noticed that Little Furball was actually more cunning than anyone else, despite its ferocious appearance. Once an expert attacked, it would quickly lead the team to change targets without any hesitation. That guy. I think I would have a headache if I were to run into an opponent who would kill randomly if he could win and run away if he couldn't win. That's good. I won't have to worry about him. Time went by quickly. The number above Lu Chen's head was jumping crazily. Quests were completed, submitted, refreshed, and resubmitted. The number of quests was quickly refreshed. He had completed 9 quests in half an hour. 50 minutes later, the 16th quest was completed. Lu Chen immediately called out to his pets. Hey, that's all for today. Come back. It would be difficult to surpass the 16th quest with 2 extra quests, but there was still hope if he worked hard. Therefore, the number was just right. Seeing that Lu Chen had recalled his battle pets, the people on the battlefield heaved a sigh of relief. Oh my God, that perverted beast tamer is finally gone. That was horrifying. The Grim Reaper is finally gone. That guy is so strong. Why did he come to the trial battlefield? Did he want others to live? He's still a human being. I have to report this when I go back. I'm afraid that this guy will become a disaster in the future. Lu Chen was on his way back to the human race's base camp. He only had 1 arm, and his face was pale and sickly. However, most of the alien warriors chose to stay away from him the moment they saw him. Right at this moment, a figure suddenly flashed in front of Lu Chen. Then, a slender woman with long ears stabbed out with both swords in her hands. The translation software indicated that she was a member of the nature elf race. We can't let the tiger go back to the mountain. I'll kill you. Hongmeng tree. Nature's teeth. A large number of vines suddenly sprouted from the ground under Lu Chen's feet and rushed towards Lu Chen. Lu Chen frowned. This female elf was quite bold. She dared to stop him. Judging from her skills, she was indeed quite strong. The moment the Hongmeng tree was born, the woman had gained 3 additional buffs and 1 additional status. Her attributes were increased by 100%, her movement speed was increased by 80%, and her attack speed was increased by 50%. At the same time, within the range of the Hongmeng tree, her body had become one with the Hongmeng tree, and she could change her position at any time. There was also a debuff on him. When he moved, there was a 30% chance that he would be entangled. This skill was quite powerful. It was almost equivalent to the effect of several formations stacked together. Interesting, but beauty, I'm sorry. I'm on my period and I'm not feeling well. Triple gate, Lu Chen said casually. The next second, he was already in front of the human race's base camp. Before the woman could stab her swords, she realized that the person in front of her had disappeared. She turned around, only to see that the man in black was already far away. What a fast reaction. Isn't he a beast tamer? How can a melee fighter react so quickly? Also, what's Hongmeng? A relative? Damn it. I've only reached the first level of the Hongmeng tree. It's still too slow. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to escape. No matter what, if Lu Chen insisted on leaving, there weren't many skills that could stop him. Lu Chen turned around and looked at the female elf. He smiled and sat in the human camp to rest. 10 minutes later, exactly 1 hour later, Lu Chen stepped into the portal. Shura was enjoying the feeling of being surrounded by tens of thousands of people. Although he had other motives for coming to the City of Exiles, being called a god by these desperados was still a rather satisfying thing. In his family, he couldn't enjoy the feeling of being surrounded by stars. Who would have thought that he would become everyone's hope in this godforsaken place? Hope. Shura couldn't help but laugh at the thought of this word. A bunch of idiots. Don't you know that the greater the hope, the greater the disappointment? After breaking the record and securing his position, it was time to investigate that matter. At this moment, a soldier suddenly rushed in from outside the door. "Young master, someone broke your record." Chapter 482. What? Shura's record hadn't even warmed up in his hands, and his own record was broken again? Someone completed 16 missions in an hour. 16? How is this possible? Shura's eyes widened. His previous record of 14 missions wasn't easy to obtain, but the other party had directly raised his record by 2 times. "Young master, the people outside are saying that you'll break the record again. They're all looking forward to seeing how you deal with the other party's provocation." Shura's head was as big as 2. Why were the people outside making the decision for him? Damn it. After completing 2 more missions, this record wasn't impossible, but he might have to try a few more times. "Did you see who broke the record?" "I didn't notice." "We're still investigating." Shura took a deep breath and calmed himself down. "You actually dare to provoke me. Very well. You want to play? I'll play with you. Let's see who can't afford to play in the end. Get ready. Release the news that Shura will enter the trial battlefield again." In front of the trial battlefield, a large crowd gathered once again. This is Shura's 3rd time, right? How many missions did he complete in an hour? 15. 15. And he still hasn't broken the record? Is his strategy wrong? He shouldn't be greedy for high-level missions. Even if those medium and large teams can't beat him, they'll waste a lot of time if they just focus on running. Shura's strength isn't a problem, but he's always lacking a little. Speaking of which, who's competing with Shura? 16 missions in an hour. Did he take pills? Maybe he took a lot of pills to increase his status. Otherwise, how could he complete so many missions? At this moment, Shura walked out again. This time, his expression wasn't too good. He didn't say a word and directly left the trial battlefield. On the announcement board, his record was still 15 missions. Another 15? There were a few people who came out with Shura. Seeing them, the crowd rushed over. "Hey, Shura seems to be very angry. What's going on?" One of the people who came out of the battlefield said, "Someone here is completing missions, and it's already alerted the other races. Don't enter the trial battlefield if there's nothing important. It's too dangerous inside." Experts from other races are here? "Yes, I heard that humans dare to do quests in the trial grounds. Naturally, the other races can't stand by and watch. Those true experts are currently pouring into the battlefield. If it weren't for the sudden appearance of experts, Shura would have been able to complete 16 quests this time." So Shura is angry because of this? Not entirely. Another person checked the wound on his shoulder as he said, there were several foreign race experts who called Shura Death God when they saw him and mocked him. Originally, we all thought that it was because of Shura's outstanding battle achievements that he was respected by the enemy. Who would have thought that they had mistaken him for someone else? You got the wrong person? That's right. They're calling for another one-armed beast tamer from the City of Exiles. He's the one who broke the record with 16 missions. Now, there are experts from all the clans who want to stop him. At this moment, everyone finally understood why Shura was so angry. It was fine that he didn't break the record, but on the other side, they only recognized Death God and not Shura. He clearly had the highest number of quests. How could he not have a name after completing 4 quests in a row? The news from the trial grounds quickly spread in the City of Exiles. Everyone began to search for the one-armed beast tamer around them. However, the City of Exiles was very big, and everyone frequently went out on quests. Although it was very conspicuous to have a severed arm or leg, it wasn't unique. Moreover, Some people would spend some military merit points to buy limb regeneration pills after losing an arm. This way, it was very difficult to determine who the one-armed death god was. In a double dormitory in the south of the city, an old man was sitting alone on the edge of his bed. His eyebrows were tightly knitted, and he had a lot on his mind. He had already heard the news outside. The one-armed death god, provoking Shura. When these two things were put together, he naturally thought of one person. Solipsistic. Is it that kid? It's possible. He wants to use this matter to delay Shura, so that he won't have time to deal with the treasure map in the short term. Shura had always thought too highly of himself. When faced with such a situation, he had no choice but to step in and solve it. However, his strength was just a little bit lacking. How could a normal person have the energy to do anything else when they had to clear the trial ground 4 times a day? Good, you brat, you're actually so strong. 16 quests. Even Shura can't do it in one go. Cowherd's eyes, which had been dim for a long time, suddenly lit up. This was the expression of someone who had seen hope. The next morning, Shura changed his usual behavior. He didn't inform anyone and took advantage of the fact that the trial grounds were empty to challenge the trial grounds again. Young Master, these are assault talismans, spirit gathering talismans, and divine travel talismans. Shura's bodyguard took out a stack of talismans and handed them to Shura. Shura quickly put away the talismans. Yes, with the Holy Spirit pills, Holy Blood pills, and elemental enchanted magic stones that I exchanged for, my combat power will double. I don't believe that I can't break his record. The one-armed death god? Very well. I'll let you know the consequences of provoking me. The bodyguard continued. Young Master, the elders in the family said that it's more important for you to do business. What do they know? Shura couldn't help but rage. When I didn't have any achievements, they always said that I was useless. I've been in the land of exiles for so long. How much information have I provided the family? I'm a god here. If it weren't for this identity, where would they get that information? A bunch of trash who only know how to talk big. When I become stronger, I'll destroy them sooner or later. Since this was the young master's intention, the bodyguard didn't dare to say anything more. He only reminded him, Young Master, you have to be careful of other experts. These 2 days, you and the one-armed death god have done too many missions. I'm afraid that someone will stop you. You don't have to worry about my matters. Your mission is to find out who that one-armed Grim Reaper is for me. Even if you have to turn the entire city of exiles upside down, you have to find out who he is. Your subordinate understands. After I find out who he is, I'll skin him alive. Shura revealed a murderous glint under his mask. After the young master left, the bodyguard checked his mail and snorted coldly. As expected, he can't do anything right, but he's good at spoiling things. Fortunately, the family head allowed me to follow this trash. The mail already contained important information. The bodyguard put it away and looked towards the south of the city. That old thing, is he living there? He actually let him hide under my nose for so long. Then, the bodyguard walked towards the south of the city. On the 10,000 tribes battlefield, beside a long river, stood a lonely pavilion. Luchin had already left the city and followed the Sky Fiend clan's team here. After a night on the road, Luchin rested here for the time being. Lu Yi took out a pill and handed it to Lu Chun. Boss, today's solid pill, the day before yesterday, and today's pill. Your injuries shouldn't worsen anymore. Lu Chun took the pill and swallowed it. He immediately felt refreshed. It's really immediate. I feel much better now. Little Green, it's been hard on you. It's not hard at all. By the way, boss, my alchemist level has increased. I can refine foundation pills now. Foundation pills? What's it for? Your body has a short-term resistance to the regeneration pill. The foundation pills are specially made to deal with this situation. It can strengthen the foundation and nurture the essence. The medicinal effect is mild, but it's not suitable for you to develop resistance. It can help you recover from your physical injuries. Oh, that's great. Please let me recover as soon as possible. I'm so tired now. Don't worry, boss. I'll definitely heal your injuries. Yes, I believe in you. Luchin nodded. At that moment, he received a mail. Earth's players could no longer send a mail. It was either from Mount Strength or Cowherd Man. Lu Chun hurriedly opened it. The mail was indeed from Cowherd Man. There were only 9 words in the letter. "They're here. Don't worry about me. Run." Lu Chun narrowed his eyes. Chapter 483. Azura had found a cowherd so quickly. That was out of Lu Chen's expectations. Lu Chen hurriedly found Lu Yi and prepared to return to the city of exiles. "What? Are you leaving? Are you not going to follow us anymore?" A few non-humankind beings slowly walked out of the woods around the pavilion. These fellows had 2 horns on their heads and were tall and sturdy. Their skin color varied, and they looked somewhat similar to humans. They were not too ugly, and instead looked full of masculine beauty. Although they all had the word demon in their name, the sky demons were different from the other demon races who looked so abstract. As the overlord race of the 3rd heaven, every sky demon had a noble air about them. At the same time, they were also quite powerful. The sky demons had very strong bodies in real life, and did not lose out to the races that were known for their physical bodies like the monster race, the Titan race, or the Dragon Man race. Moreover, their bodies were not too exaggerated, giving them excellent agility. It was said that the sky demons had a set of high-level mental cultivation techniques and several sets of cultivation techniques with growth passed down from generation to generation. Lu Chun narrowed his eyes slightly. He had been very careful, and yet he was still discovered by this group of sky demons. More sky demons walked out of the forest. The one in the lead was 3 meters tall, wearing golden armor and a red cape fluttering behind him. The words on the badge on his chest translated to Marshal. Lu Chun frowned. He had been tailing this group of about 300 people at first and did not notice this fellow. Who would have thought that such a group would be personally led by a marshal? Human. The sky demon leader walked in front of Lu Chun, narrowing his eyes and saying in a low voice, "Are you not afraid of death?" Lu Chun frowned and drew countercurrent. "Looks like this battle is unavoidable." How unlucky. With the help of the solid pill, his injuries would not worsen and were around 50% damaged. However, he did not know what would happen if a fierce battle broke out. But now he had no choice but to fight. The leader looked at Lu Chun coldly. His eyes suddenly turned from green to red, and then quickly recovered. "Your physical body has suffered 53% damage, and you've lost your right arm. You must have given up on this spy mission." Suddenly, the leader changed the topic. "If I give you hope, but you have to give me something in exchange, would you be willing?" Lu Chun frowned slightly. "What do you want?" "I want that ghost pet of yours. In exchange, not only will I let you go, I will also give you a limb regeneration pill and 10 Shinong pills." Lu Chun was slightly surprised. Shinong pill? Marshals seemed to be able to exchange for more pills than him. Lu Chun stared at the heavenly demon marshal and narrowed his eyes. "So you have been here for a long time." When they came, Lu Chun had clearly called Lu Yi back. The heavenly demon marshal had specifically asked for Lu Yi. This meant that they had seen Lu Yi and had seen Lu Yi give Lu Chun the pills. Lu Yi was indeed beautiful. Some players with strange hobbies might want her, but these people were from the heavenly demon race. They were from different races. They naturally wanted Lu Yi not because of her beauty, but because of her alchemy skills. They had been lying in ambush for a long time. The heavenly demon marshal snorted. "You're not too stupid. That's right. It was your soldiers who tipped us off. That's why we split up. One group attracted your attention, and the other group ambushed you." Lu Chen's heart burned with anger. He had been betrayed. It was obvious that the people who betrayed him were the 3 mission officers. Lu Chen's left hand gripped the hilt of the reverse water sword tightly. "Good. It's fine if you let me carry out the mission alone, but you actually played with me. I think I've really tolerated you for too long. I gave you an inch, and you wanted a mile. Ha ha. Do you think you still have time to hold a grudge? Kid, hand over that ghost pet, and I'll spare your life." Lu Chun was able to get to where he was today, not only because of his strength, but also because he was a person who sought stability. Before going to the next heaven, he would often max out his level and fight with spiritual martial apothecary. He had spent half a year to cultivate the three transformations of gods and demons. Originally, Lu Chun had planned to keep a low profile in the City of Exiles. He wanted to let Furball earn military merits and recuperate until Furball evolved and recovered from its injuries. However, the treasure map that Cowherd had given him made him cross paths with Shura. At this moment, Shura's people had already gone to look for Cowherd. The suicide mission had been betrayed, and someone wanted to see his corpse exposed in the wilderness. Very good. I'm really unlucky to reach the third heaven. Lu Chun suddenly laughed, and then glared at the Sky Demon Marshal. Let me live. Do you think I'll believe you? The Sky Demon Marshal laughed disdainfully. What? Do you think you have a choice? Lu Chun was suddenly stunned. He lowered his head and laughed as he shook his head. I used to hate choices, but a friend told me that the most precious right of a person is to choose. Speaking of which, my injuries are all thanks to that guy. But I actually have to thank him. He made me understand a lot, and also made me grow a lot. Looking up, Lu Chun looked around. These sky demons were all regular soldiers, and there was no lack of officers among them. Their strength was not something that the militia in the trial battlefield could compare to. Moreover, there was a marshal among them. It was unknown how a sky demon marshal's strength compared to a human titled marshal's. Dragging his heavily injured and crippled body, Lu Chen's lips suddenly curled up. Lu Chen laughed maniacally. He put away the reverse water scale sword. With one hand, he slowly pulled out an item from the void. This item was suffused with golden light. As it was pulled out inch by inch, the 9 dragon shadows on its surface gradually appeared. Whoosh! Lu Chun pulled out his weapon and held it with one hand, standing proudly in the field. He twisted his neck with a look of regret. My personal doctor must be very angry. Sorry, little green. This time I choose to fight. All of you, come at me together. I'm in a hurry. Lu Chen's eyes shone with a green light. In the next second, the pavilion by the corpse river exploded. With a furious roar, Lu Chen's body exploded with a blinding golden light, and then he flashed in front of the Sky Demon Marshal. Demon transformation. The Sky Demon Marshal heard a voice in his ear. Remember, in front of me, you have no right to call yourselves demons. The City of Exiles. Between the messy bungalows and the dormitory area in the south of the city, a man was fleeing in panic. He was wearing an exile mask, so his appearance couldn't be seen clearly. However, from his posture, it wasn't difficult to tell that he wasn't young. At this moment, he was running through the slum-like alleys while looking back from time to time, nervously paying attention to the situation behind him. This person was Su Wong. Behind him was a civet cat. It seemed that this little guy had come to inform its master in advance. Shura's personal bodyguard was coming to the south of the city. After receiving the news, Su Wong left his residence immediately. That kid asked me to hold on for a while more. It should be related to his injuries. Although Solipsistic had set a record of 16 missions in 1 hour, Su Wong was very clear that he couldn't continue fighting due to his injuries. Secondly, the power behind Shura was what he was really afraid of. I can only escape from the City of Exiles. Kid, don't come back. The power behind Shura is something you can't imagine. In front of him was the South Gate. Beyond the South Gate was the 10,000 tribes battlefield. Shura shouldn't dare to chase after him. When he was less than 200 meters away from the South Gate, a figure walked out leisurely from the side alley. You're really stupid. I just had to wait here for you, and you really came. The person raised his head. It was as if he could see the proud face behind his cold mask. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.